forward, finds Carter Lowe through the neutral zone. Lowe waits, takes the shot, kicks side, rebound, scores! Cole Bodwin! Welcome to the Sadlin Arena for Game 4 of the OHL Championship Series. It's the Barrie Colts versus the Kitchener Rangers, and this is a must-win situation if the Colts want to keep the 25-26 campaign going. I'm your host, Mike Poirier, joined alongside Josh McCann and Gene Pereira. And for this Colts team, 2 out of the 3 games needed overtime. Game 3, double overtime. What's in store tonight?
Well, it's going to be interesting, and we should get a pretty good idea of what's going to go on here in the first period. Obviously, you're looking from a Barrie perspective, and you're wondering, okay, do they still believe? And it seemed like the vibes down there when we were walking through, it seemed like a pretty calm group that still believes that they're still in this series. From a Kitchener perspective, I think you always wonder when it comes to these championship series, especially in a 3-0 situation, it's, okay, is Kitchener going to come out here tonight and put pedal to the metal and try and win this series in 4? Or are they maybe sitting back and thinking, hey, we could lose this game and go win on home ice? And that's when teams start to get in trouble. But we've seen it before, and I said it the other night, this kind of reminds me of that Edmonton-Florida series a couple of years ago. Florida was up 3-0, and Edmonton probably came out thinking we should be up 2-1 or down 2-1, but at the end of the day, we should be still in this series. And I think with 2 overtime games, a tight game in game number 1 until that Joe Salandra injury, I think the Barrie Colts are coming into tonight thinking they probably deserved a better fate. But at the end of the day, fate doesn't matter. You're down 3-0. That's all that history's going to remember. So if the Barrie Colts want to come back, they need to keep putting in the effort they did in game number 3.
Well, we were talking with some of the other media here in the building, and it's yes, Kitchener's up 3-0, and on the paper, it looks like, okay, it's all Rangers in this series. But with the way these games have been played, it's been much closer and kind of surprising at this point that one of these 2 teams is on the verge of winning an OHL championship in 4 straight. So the J. Ross Robertson Cup, it's in the building, and that 4th game, it's always the hardest to win. And for this Rangers team, it might, as long as they can try and stay focused on the task at hand, they should be able to continue playing their style. But it's got to start creeping in there a little bit that this could be the OHL title here on the line.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the Kitchener players also need to remember that this Barrie Colts team just came back from down 3-1 on a really good team in the Brantford Bulldogs. That wasn't some slouchy team that wasn't going to put in a good effort to win. That's a really good Brantford Bulldogs team. So if Kitchener starts letting off the gas pedal and Barrie gets back into it, all of a sudden we've got a brand new series. And we saw it last time. Game number 5, it was a tight game between Barrie and Brantford. Barrie wins it. All of a sudden they got a bit of life heading back home. Ben Horebic steals a game, and all of a sudden you're going to a Game 7. That's how quick it can flip. It's a bit different at 3-0, but if Barrie can take tonight's game, maybe you go to the odd and Ben Horebic has one of his great games, steals one. All of a sudden you're coming home for game number 6 with all the momentum.
Now the stats in the history books not in favor of the Barrie Colts. Only one team has ever come back from being down 3-0 in an OHL final to force a Game 7. That was the Belleville Bulls in 2008, but they ended up losing in 7 to this Kitchener Rangers team. And that also happens to be the last time Kitchener won the J. Ross Robertson Cup. So for the Barrie Colts, they're going to have to beat history here if they're going to come back and advance to the Memorial Cup in Kelowna.
Yeah, obviously that was a long time ago, and especially in junior hockey, there's no one remaining from that team on the Kitchener Rangers. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see tonight just the effort on both sides. And this Barrie Colts team, like I mentioned, it felt like in the pregame they didn't feel out of it, and they seem to do their best work when their back's against the wall, and I expect no different tonight.
So we'll go to our Coach's Corner presented by Mariposa School of Skating, where we chat with Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz. Catching up with head coach Dylan Smoskowitz, Game 4 of the best-of-7 series. You guys are down 3-0, but this team all year, you guys have had gritty performances. You've gutted it out in that conference final. You guys just have that swagger.
Yeah, it's a product of the work that these guys put in. Again, if the work wasn't put in and you find yourself in this situation, you're like, oh man, we're not ready for this. But that's not the case. These guys are more than ready. They've more than prepared themselves. If you walked in that room right now, you wouldn't know this team's down 3-0. You think they're up 3-0. It's a lot of positive energy and a lot of excitement for tonight's game.
And these last 2 games going to overtime, Game 3 double overtime, that's been a lot of hockey for you guys.
A lot of hockey, and these guys wouldn't rather have it any other way. It's I still, even today, even after all the hockey these guys have played, I'm still finding myself running around in morning skate, literally dragging guys, physically dragging guys off the ice, because they don't understand that you need to rest, you need to recover. They want to take more shots. They want to play 3-on-3 afterwards. It's a special group. They love being around each other, but they love the game as well.
And a lot of attention's been on Aitchison with those clutch goals at the end of the third period. But one player who stood out, William Schneider, he had that great hands to get that goal in game number 3. Talk about his efforts here and finally breaking through in this OHL final.
So if you would ask me about Schneider, let's say midway through the regular season, I would have told you that the kid does everything right. Coach's dream. He's the first guy in asking for video, and even his video is, he's never out of place. He's never doing anything that would cost the team. He's responsible. He works hard. Whatever the structure is, he sticks to it. He never goes off on his own page. So we've seen that all year. Maybe there are little finer details that maybe the general fan wouldn't see. But you score a goal like that, a lot of people are going to take notice. So when you can combine that sort of skill set with his hockey IQ and his buy-in and his attention to detail on the defensive side, you get yourself a winner. And William Schneider, whatever he does, whether it's to make the NHL or become a billionaire, that guy's going to be a winner in life.
Oh, I love it. And so now focusing on tonight's game, obviously must win. So what do you guys have to do to get the W here tonight?
I'd love to say nothing different, but obviously there does have to be some difference. We are pretty happy with our overall effort in the first 3 games, but it hasn't really been enough yet. So we just have to simplify a little bit, but at the same time just play our game. Just amplify it just a little bit more. Just if we're gonna get to the net, just drive a little bit harder. If you're gonna flip a puck out of the zone, just flip it a little bit higher. We're not off by much, but whatever we've been doing, we're pretty happy with. We just need a little bit more from these guys.
So that was Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz in the Mariposa School of Skating Coach's Corner. And he mentions it there. This is a do-or-die game. They have to put it all on the line here, try and send this series back to Kitchener for game number 5 Thursday night. But, they did get a bit of a boost. Joe Salandra in the building after going back home for an MRI scan. Good news is he's not going to require surgery. So for Joe Salandra, being that bit of a positive influence for this team, maybe inspiring them a little bit here as they take on the Rangers.
Yeah, Joe Salandra is a big part of that locker room, obviously, and for them, you want everyone healthy, but unfortunately for the Barrie Colts, that's not the case. So probably pretty good for them to get a couple guys back in Joe Salandra and Cole Baudouin being around the team and just letting them have those guys around them and try and get them back going. And for Salandra, obviously, he's not going to help on the ice, but maybe off the ice he can help motivate this Barrie Colts team.
And we also saw that too with Cole Baudouin after he suffered his injury. He was actually on the bench serving as an assistant coach in that series against the Brantford Bulldogs. So we'll see what kind of inspiration the Colts can get here tonight as we get ready for puck drop in the chat. Alive and well. We also have a couple of super chats to mention. Richard with the $10 gift. I'll be late joining you guys. Tuesday's Bible study. See you at 8:30. We look forward to you coming back to the broadcast there, Richard. And also Andrew Wilmot, $49.99 in the super chat. Grab a couple of smash burgers for the broadcast crew for the drive to Kitchener on Thursday. Best broadcast crew in the OHL. Go Colts, go. So thank you very much, Andrew, for that. And I love the confidence of Colt fans coming into tonight's game.
Well, we got to Kitchener pretty early both games, so we should be able to fit in some smash burgers.
I would hope so, because the traffic wasn't as bad as we were expecting those 2 games.
It's been really good.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. And I'm also seeing other people in the chat saying that, like Mike Fallis, with the Colts, he's expecting them to come back. Imagine the Colts come back and win this series. You never know. Historic cinematics. This is a Kitchener series to lose now. Colts against the wall. So you never put your opponent in desperate ground. So this is a situation where, yes, the pressure is on the Barrie Colts, but at the same time, there's pressure here too on this Kitchener Rangers team to try and close it out.
Yeah, I think with Mike Fallis still having hope, that just gave me a lot more hope because he doesn't seem like a guy that would have too much hope in a 3-0 scenario. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure when it comes to winning an OHL championship. And one guy that's going to be huge for the Rangers through this game is Sam O'Reilly, a guy that's now in his 4th straight OHL championship. He knows how it feels to lose. He knows how it feels to win. He knows what it takes to win an OHL championship. So if he is a big of a leader, as I assume he is, he's going to be in that locker room trying to make sure these guys are prepared and ready to go. Keep in mind the last 2 years, it's been pretty easy for Sam O'Reilly's London Knights. They've kind of just taken it to Oshawa in those 2 series against the Generals, and he's looking to close out another series pretty early here.
Now, there is an interesting lineup note for the Kitchener Rangers. Matthew Lachar, he's the extra forward to take part in the warm-up. That's something we haven't seen UC Hocus do this entire series, but we did see that Arquette, he suffered, looked like maybe an ankle injury in the first period of game number 3. He came back, played a couple of shifts, but wasn't the same, so you almost have to wonder, is he going to be a game-time decision here, and Lachar may take his spot in that 4th line?
Yeah, especially because Arquette had been playing 2nd and 3rd line throughout the series. He's now listed on that 4th line left wing. Tanner Lamb moving up onto the 3rd line with Hayden Ellis and Luke Ellenus. But for Kitchener, obviously, they're pretty healthy. They're missing a couple guys. Max Dericolo used to be a regular for this team, but he's sitting out throughout this series, and so for them, they've been pretty healthy, but obviously as this series goes on, like we talked about last game, yeah, the Barrie Colts are tired, yeah, the Barrie Colts are injured, but as this series goes on, it's going to quickly start to wear on the Kitchener Rangers as well. We saw that last game with the Arquette injury. I'm not sure Carson Campbell's foot is fully 100%. He seemed a bit slow late in that game after blocking a shot, so that's another thing to watch for throughout this one.
And it's going to be, I think, one thing to keep an eye on this game is the depth of the defense. And I know that was a discussion coming into the series, trying to compare these two teams to see, okay, who has the edge over who. And for these two defensive units, for the Colts, of course, it all goes through Kayshawn Aitchison. He's a minute muncher, but for this Kitchener team as well, Cameron Reed, he's been getting up there in the ice time as well. So it's been fascinating just to see that matchup.
Well, 50 minutes for Kayshawn Aitchison last game, man. What another great game from Kayshawn Aitchison, but like you talked about, lots of depth on both sides of the ball. I mean, Barrie, they've got 2 defensemen in the top 20 in scoring overall, and then when you look at defensemen in the top 20 in scoring so far this postseason, yeah, it helps out that both teams are still playing, but Kitchener's got 5, Barrie's got 3 of their own, so lots of scoring between these two groups, but also lots of really strong defenders. Matthew Andonovski, Jared Woolley, Carson Campbell. Well, even that bottom pairing, Bilecki and McNeil. Yeah, Cameron Reed's a good defender as well, but he's known for his offense. Those other guys, not as much. They're more known for their defense, but they've really picked it up offensively as well throughout this postseason.
And we'll want to see how the crowd reacts to this game as well, because it's a pretty healthy dose of Ranger fans in attendance again here tonight. I know it was standing room only was available, and a lot of Ranger fans making the trek up from KW to see this game and hoping to see their team win the OHL title here. But for this Colts team, you know that this is a passionate fan base that you have yourself. The fans, they were right into it in game number 3. So you almost want to get that edge early and take advantage, get a lead instead of trying to chase this game.
Yeah, the fans were great on Sunday evening here at the Sadlin Arena. You can even see when watching the highlights that you can't see any of the celebration, because the second that puck goes in, the fans were flying up to their feet in celebration, and Barrie's got to be able to feed off that crowd. I talked about it last game, how Kitchener, they really fed off of that environment in the odd. Barrie's got to do the same here tonight. Bring the crowd, make them a factor, as long as it's a Barrie factor, not a Kitchener factor. A couple Let's Go Ranger fans chants started the other night, but Barrie fans tried to shut that down. Dylan Edwards said post-game, I heard a couple Let's Go Rangers chants. So for Kitchener, their fan base obviously going to be here and well attended, and for Barrie, it's a pretty packed crowd, and so obviously this fan base hasn't given up either.
And what's also interesting to note too is specialty teams hasn't been too much of a factor in this game. Both teams, no power play goals in game number 3. It looked like Sam O'Reilly scored on the power play at the beginning of the first period of that one. That goal disallowed because of a high stick. But unlike that Brantford series where specialty teams was huge, the power play goals were aplenty in that series. But this time, the penalty kill units, they've been getting the job done here, and it's been the 5-on-5 that's been a big factor.
Yeah, and that's great to see. And for Kitchener, their penalty kill has been a big part of their run. None of these teams' power plays have been able to find success off of the Kitchener Rangers penalty kill, including some pretty high-scoring teams. Sure, they played the Saginaw Spirit in round 1. Their issue was keeping pucks out of the net, not putting them in. They did a pretty good job shutting them down, and that goes overall to show both these teams' mindsets. Kitchener, they play a style where they may only have 25 shots, but they're only giving up 20 shots as well. And for Barrie, Dylan Smoskowitz has preached it all season. Defense into offense. Defense, defense, defense. So both sides have worked up pretty good defensive mesh numbers, pretty good penalty kill numbers as well, and it shouldn't be any different here in game number 4.
So the two teams are on the ice getting ready for puck drop here from the Saddle Arena for game 4, the OHL final. We'll take a quick break, but when we return, we will have the first period action here from Barrie. So we are ready to go for the first period of play between the Kitchener Rangers and the Barrie Colts. Game 4 of this OHL final. Let's take a look at our starting goaltenders, presented by Craigkhurst Crossing by Georgian Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm.
Well, first for the Kitchener Rangers, Christian Kirsch back in net, 15-2-0 on the postseason with a .900 save percentage. Even in game number 3, Kirsch stopped 36 of 39. For the Barrie Colts, Ben Hurevik right back in net. He started all but one for the Barrie Colts so far this playoffs. 12-5-2 with a .923 save percentage, coming off another phenomenal outing, 46 of 50 in the loss.
Our referees tonight, Chad Ingalls and Mac Nickel. And on the line, Spencer Knox and Dan Govacek. So we are just about ready to go here for the first period of play. It's do or die for the Barrie Colts. They try to save their season, down 3-0 in this OHL final. Well, the Kitchener Rangers, their first shot to clinch the J. Ross Robertson Cup, their first since 2008. Colts going with their top line, as Crombie will take the wing, with Jaden Newton taking the faceoff. Zabeski on his left side, Passmore and Aitchison at the point, and we are ready to go. There's the crowd getting into it, and play is underway. Faceoff won by the Rangers. Wasn't done cleanly, so we'll do this again. But now we've got Dylan Edwards and Calvin Crombie exchanging words. Do you think Crombie's ready to go for this one?
Well, it's a pretty physical 5 out there for the Barrie Colts right now. A mix of their 3 lines and then Aitchison and Passmore. So a lot of hits, and Newton just ran over O'Reilly off the draw.
I don't even know if Newton was going for the puck. He just laid out Sam O'Reilly off the draw. Colts sent it towards the net. That's guided to the corner. There's a big hit there from Newton. He's dialed in. Puck's in the neutral zone. Sent in by Woolley. On the wing, O'Reilly. Back to Antonovsky up the middle. His shot blocked by Passmore. Evan Passmore trying to play it in the corner. He throws his weight. A lot of hits here by the Barrie Colts in the opening 30 seconds of this hockey game. Colts will chip this one deep. Kirsch out to play it, leaves it for Woolley. Both teams will make changes. Cameron Reed back to pick it up for the Rangers. As the Go Colts Go chants already coming here at the Saddlin Arena. Pridham sends this one in. Humphreys around the boards. Horevic gets it behind his own net. He'll send it around. Hemming picks it up at the blue line. He loses the handle. Puck comes to the near corner. Von Richter sends it ahead. Can't get out of the zone. That shot knocked down by Pridham. Pridham to the net off of Hanser. Trying to play it there was Romano. Puck sent to the corner. In the air it goes. Hanser trying to get under it. Rangers put it out in front. Hits the paddle of Horevic. Stays in the corner. Pridham trying to get a stick on it. Instead, it's Hemming up to Lowe. Carter Lowe leaves it for Wilmot. He's going to chip that one deep. Cameron Reed back to pick it up for the Rangers. Facing pressure here from Hemming. Hemming will tie him up along the boards. Puck's loose. Rangers trying to clear it. Puck kept in by the Colts. Puck's bouncing. Hemming fires. And that one hit a player in front. Backhand. Side of the net. Stopped by Kirsch. What a chance by the Barrie Colts. That was Gardner at the side of the goal. Moving it around. Emerton fires. Kirsch the save. He sprawls out. Puck sent to the corner. Colts can't keep it in the attacking zone. Chasing after it now is Tanner Lamb. Lamb passing it in front, but Ellis couldn't get a stick on it. He was tied up by Emerton. Emerton will send it forward. Desiderio reaches center. He'll send it to the opposite corner. Bilecki, the first one on it for the Rangers. Desiderio picks it up here for the Colts. In front, but no one there for Barrie. The Rangers will skate this one out. It's Sam O'Reilly. He's got speed through the neutral zone. His shot on goal stopped by Horevic. O'Reilly taken into the boards by Hanser. Puck's in the corner. Hanser trying to send it ahead. His pass picked off by Sherratt. Puck's in the slot. Crombie knocks it away. And Desiderio will get it out. Takes the hit from Bilecki. Rangers get it at their own blue line. Moving this one ahead is Dylan Edwards. He was the double overtime hero Sunday night. As the Rangers send it around, but it's Carter Lowe who's going to get it out to Jaden Newton. Newton sends this one in the zone. He takes a hit along the boards. Schneid down low for the Colts. That gets by him. Lowe with the hit. Puck goes behind the Kitchener net. Rangers with it. Edwards sends this one around. Sherratt back to pick it up for Kitchener. Takes the hit from Schneid as the Colts trying to get the forecheck going. Almost caused the turnover, but the Rangers will get it out. Here's Woolley. Backhand pass to Edwards. Woolley will get it back in the corner. He's rubbed into the boards. Eliasson will collect it. Eliasson's pass up ahead. Newton gives it to Lowe. Carter Lowe's just going to dump this one in. Ends up behind the Kitchener net. Kirsch is going to leave it there. Quick pace here to Game 4 of this OHL final. Also a very physical start, as that's going to be an icing call now against Kitchener. And that's going to come back into their own zone.
Well, Dylan Smoskowitz's message seems pretty clear in this Barrie Colts group. They're not ready to go down, but if they're going down, they're going to take a piece of Kitchener with them. Some big hits right off the bat here, and a pretty physical group to start it with Newton, Zabeski, and Crombie. And then with the defense as well there, Eliasson gets skipped the first time through. Aitchison goes out with Passmore, then it's Hanser and Von Richter, then right back to Kayshawn Aitchison, joined by Cole Emerton, and those two are back out there again.
Face-off won by the Colts. Emerton has it at the point. He's going to send that one around. Ends up behind the Kitchener net. Rangers trying to get it out. Edgar fans on it. Rangers with the puck. Romano at center, sends it down ice, rolls towards the net, doesn't make contact. So that's going to be an icing call here against the Rangers.
Well, Colts honoring Brad Gardner, who won an award earlier today for the top academic player post-secondary. Gardner, I believe it said he averaged 97% in his classes.
That's unreal. I was lucky if I had one class where I was close to maybe 95%.
I think I had a 97 in English one time. One
Really?
time.
Wow.
It was a one-off. It didn't happen again, but...
See, I think I got a 96 in geography.
Okay.
Let's see how far that got me.
How far?
Well, I'm here.
Yeah, but geography travel.
True. There's a chance to the net. Stopped by Horevic. That was Pridham who was able to get it on net. Rangers moving around. Pridham loses the handle of it. Knocked away by Zabeski. Wilmot reaches center ice. He'll enter the attacking zone, but that's going to be offside as Zabeski was just ahead of the play. And speaking of awards, even Matthew Adanovsky was named the Teammate of the Year award.
That's what I was about to say, is that he won that despite playing only 35% of his team's games this year, and I think that caused some chaos online about whether people thought he earned it, but I think that speaks even more to the teammate that he is, that he was able to be even considered despite playing that little amount of time.
Well, I know Ranger fans were pretty excited when they found out that Andonovski was coming back from the Belleville Senators. He's made an impact, and even in this series, the overtime winner in Game 2 back at the Odd. And also a solid teammate, according to the people that decide the awards. Puck rolls in front of the net. Rangers get to it. They're going to send it down ice. Won't be enough for icing as Aitchison picks it up at his own blue line. Aitchison over to Passmore. Passmore sends it ahead. Wilmot tips it into the Ranger zone. Rolls on net. Kirsch will leave it there for Campbell. Carson Campbell collides into Zabeski. Rangers get it up the ice. That's center. That's for Mullen. He's trying to knock it into the Barrie zone, but the Colts send it ahead. Gardner at center. Drops it back to Hanser. Puck's batted in the air. Rangers trying to get to it. That's Arquette. So Arquette in the lineup tonight as Lachar was the extra forward during warm-up. So Lachar looks to be the scratch here for the Kitchener Rangers. They're going to send this one deep in the Barrie zone. Hanser back behind the net, trying to play it was Passmore. Ansis puts on the pressure. That's knocked out to center ice. Andonovski puts it back into the Barrie zone. It was delayed offside, so this gives Hanser some time. That's sent out to center ice. Gardner loses it. Carrying this one in is O'Reilly. O'Reilly, his shot on goal. And Horebic at the top of the blue paint makes the save. And now we've got Evan Passmore mixing it up with O'Reilly. And as O'Reilly's had a bit of a target on his back here tonight.
Yeah, one of the Kitchener top players, a big impact in game number 1. He opened the scoring. That line for Kitchener had all of their goals the other night, or at least on the ice for all of them. Carson Campbell getting the second one, but outside of that, it was all that top line getting the job done. And we talk about all the time, stars got to be the stars, and for Kitchener, the top guys led the charge.
Well, Sam O'Reilly leads the Kitchener Rangers in scoring. 16 goals, 11 assists, good for 27 points. He's been having a great run here for the Rangers. What a pickup from London at the trade deadline. Face-off one by the Colts. They're going to send this one around. Carter Lowe gets a stick on it. That's batted away. Aitchison follows it up, gets the line and out. O'Reilly, he's there for Kitchener. He's going to send it back to his defense. Gabe Sherrod on the wing. He'll dump it in. It goes to the far corner. Von Richter, first one on it. Von Richter sends it behind the net, collected by Eliasson. That pass goes up the middle. Carter Lowe had his stick tied up. He's trying to play it from his skates. Newton into the zone. Reed's there. And now it's going to be an offside call against the Colts with 14:32 still to play here in the first period.
We talked about it pregame, how tight the first 3 games have been of this series. 2 overtime defeats for the Barrie Colts and then a loss where they were in it most of the way. Just a couple bad minutes there made it 4-2, and then they kind of got out of that game late in the third period. But it's one of those things where down 3-0, it's going to be tough for Barrie to come back. But even if they don't come back, it still feels like they're due for a win or two, that this series may not be done just tonight.
With this start, the Barrie Colts have been more physical. They're getting pucks towards their net, or getting the forecheck going, as that's going to be an offside. We'll do this face-off again. Shots right now even at 3 apiece.
Dylan Smoskowitz mentioned it post-game the other night, how Jeff O'Neill had messaged him after the Game 2 loss saying, you guys still are thinking about beating Brantford. You're got to recognize that you're in a new series, and Smoskowitz brought that to his group in game number 3. And it was a slow start for Barrie, but from that second period on, especially that third period, they looked pretty good, especially in that third. 3 goals, a couple of beauties as well.
Rangers will send this one around as there's another big hit behind the Kitchener net. That was Zabeski throwing that one. As Kitchener is going to send this one back into the Barrie zone, picked up by Von Richter. Parker Von Richter. His pass is blocked. Gets it at his own blue line, sends it ahead. On the wing, that's Emil Hemming. Hemming trying to flip it ahead, picked up by Aitchison. Aitchison passes it, Zabeski in the net, backhand, stopped by Kirsch. As Mason Zabeski found a way behind the defense, but that backhand went right into the glove of the netminder.
A nice play by Zabeski, driving the net there, nice backhander. And for Barrie, you can see it so far in this game. They still feel like they're in this series, and they're going to bring their best effort throughout the night. And you know, it sounds so hard to come back from down 3-0, but you can obviously dumb it down a bit and look at it and say, okay, we came back from down 3-1 last series. You can look at it as well and say, they just won 3 in a row. Why can't we go win 3 in a row? All you got to do is win 2 home games and win a road game, which is exactly what Kitchener has just done. And if Barrie believes that they are just as good as Kitchener, then they probably feel like they can do that exact same thing.
Well, it comes down to just playing it one game at a time, or even just one period at a time. And I know all season, every time I'm talking to Dylan Smoskowitz, he's all about win the day. Well, I think on today's date, it's about win the period.
Well, it's win the period, win the shift as well. And it starts with that first shift, and Barrie coming out flying. Newton just runs over O'Reilly off the faceoff. Crombie getting into it with Sherratt off the faceoff. A couple big hits as well. Gets the crowd alive, and it also gets the team alive. It gets them feeling good and getting back to their game.
So we got 13:52 remaining in this first period. No score to report. Shots favoring Kitchener right now, 4-3. It's been a much physical start to what we've seen in this series so far. Zaleski, a couple of big hits. Jaden Newton getting involved, even Evan Passmore. But it has definitely been an entertaining start to this one here at the Sadlin Arena.
It's been tight. Just saw someone in the chat saying, hoping to see Zaleski have a good game tonight. So got some Zaleski fans in the crowd, and it's had a good start. That big hit behind the net last shift, and then a good opportunity out in front as well.
He's been such a great pickup, though, from the Brampton Steelheads. All three that are in this game, Zaleski, Von Richter, even Gabe Sherratt. I know there's a lot of people who are hard on the Rangers for that trade, but looking at how even Gabe Sherratt's been playing this playoff for Kitchener, he's made up for what the cost was in that trade.
Yeah, I think that was the thing, is that people quickly looked and said, really, you're giving up that much for a guy with this amount of points and this amount of games? I believe he was under a point per game at the time, and for them, though, I mean, you just got to look at the guy, and he screams a playoff-type player. He's a physical, grinder-type guy that's going to get to the net. We've seen it this series. Jack Pridham hasn't had his greatest series. He was benched in game number 2 in overtime. Gabe Sherratt's the guy that stepped up, went on that top line. He's been there ever since, and he's been a big part of it. He set up that goal that gave Kitchener the lead in the final moments of regulation in game number 3. Just a perfect play, gets it to Sam O'Reilly, and then O'Reilly, when everyone thinks he's going to shoot it, puts it out front for Dylan Edwards, who is just sneaking in from behind.
Yeah, it's just something about all three of those former Brampton Steelheads. They're just all playoff performers. Sherratt, Zaleski, and Von Richter. As we wait for this face-off to the left of Christian Kirsch, Newton's going to step in to take the draw against Sam O'Reilly. Face-off won by Newton, back to Aitchison. Quick shot, Kirsch the save. As that one went right to Aitchison at the point. Had a good look, but good save there by the Rangers netminder.
Kirsch has had a really good series, maybe his best series of the postseason, a .919 save percentage so far, and obviously a .900 save percentage total just wasn't going to cut it here in this series, and we've seen that in games 2 and 3. If he gives up one extra goal, the Barrie Colts are up 2-1.
Rangers will skate this one out. Edwards dumps it in. Horevic comes out of his net to play it. He's going to send it around the boards. Sherratt's there for the Rangers, sends it down low to O'Reilly. Sam O'Reilly skates out from the corner, sends it behind the Barrie net. Sherratt's tied up with Aitchison in front of Horevic. Emerton trying to send it around. Schneider from his knees, plays it back to Aitchison. Aitchison takes the hit from O'Reilly. Puck kept in at the point. Sherratt knocks it down. Emerton sends it around the boards. O'Reilly's there. His pass blocked by Aitchison. Tight quarters deep in the Colt zone as Carter Lowe is going to flip this one out to center ice. Getting under that was Andonovski. Matthew Andonovski is going to peel back as both teams are making changes. Deep in his own zone is Jared Woolley. He's going to take his time. 13 minutes still to go here in this first period. Rangers send it into the Barrie end. Inside the blue line, that's Justin Hanser. Zaleski up the boards. Sends it into the Rangers zone. Picked up there by Ellis. Turnover. Wilmot around the net. Trying to put it in front. Zaleski can't get a stick on it. Rangers flip it out to center as the forecheck generating chances again here for the Colts. Hanser skates it back behind his own net. Von Richter up ahead to Hemming. Hemming passes this one to Hanser. Hanser chasing after into the attacking zone. Far corner, Justin Hanser in front. His pass is blocked by Campbell. Now the Rangers come back the other way. Puck's in the neutral zone. Colts take it again. Wilmot up to Von Richter. Chips it to Zaleski. Zaleski, though, can't handle it. Hayden Ellis will take it out to center. Ellis enters the zone, lost the handle of it. Eliasson comes back. Eliasson sends it around to his defense partner. That's Parker Von Richter. Mason Zaleski from the blue line passes it ahead. Wilmot couldn't get a stick on it. Rangers send this one forward. They get it back at their own blue line. Far side. Bilecki to Romano. He's going to dump this one in. Back behind the Colts net. Cole Emerton with possession. Puts it off the glass. Taken there by Pridham. Jack Pridham from the corner sends it back, but getting a stick on it was Gardner. And now Crombie's going to go for a skate. Calvin Crombie in that. His shot stopped by Kirsch. Rebound. Desiderio couldn't get there in time. Colts, though, keep it in the attacking zone momentarily. Rangers, though, clear it. Near side Romano towards the net. Pridham couldn't get there in time. Puck sent around. Eliasson chasing after it. Gets the line, not out, kept in by McNeil. Eliasson trying to force it out of the zone. He will. Desiderio bats it over to his partner. That's Calvin Crombie, and he's going to dump it in the zone. But that was before the red line, so it's an icing call now against the Colts with 11:14 remaining.
A close one there. Desiderio, nice play. Knocking that puck off the stick of Bilecki and getting it loose to Crombie, but flipped it back the other way. Crombie didn't look like he was going to go back on. He was pretty convinced that he had gotten to the red line, but officials force him back on, and Colts will reset.
Barrie Colts are now out shooting Kitchener 6-3. Is that something we haven't seen too often in this series? Andonovski from the point. His shot blocked in front. Sherratt couldn't get a stick on it. Woolley keeps it at the point. Sherratt in the far corner. Sends it back to Woolley. One-timer stopped by Hrebeck. After the loose puck is Brad Gardner. Puts it off the glass and down the ice. Woolley back to play it for the Rangers. Woolley trying to catch the Colts on the line change. Sends it up to Sherratt. Sherratt along the boards. Tied up by Aitchison. In front. No one there for Kitchener. Jaden Newton goes up to Carter Lowe. Low at center, finds Schneid. Schneid carrying it in, takes the shot, and that's deflected over the net. Rebound, bounces in front, and the Rangers will collect it. That's sent forward in the neutral zone. Sherratt, he's going to dump it in. Hrebeck behind his own net, takes his time, sends it ahead. Dangerous pass. Really getting a stick on it there was Edwards. Puck sent to the neutral zone. Carter Lowe puts it off Campbell. That's going to go right back out to center. Kayshawn Aitchison there for Barrie. Sends this one ahead, goes off the stick of Lowe. Campbell up the wing. Icing waved off. As Vaughn Richter is going to play it back behind his own net. McCormick gets to the line. There's a loose stick there. Colts clear it. Eamon Edgar. He'll skate it out for the Colts. Edgar to the net. McCormick gives chase. He's forced behind the net. McCormick trying to play it from his skates. Tied up there by Carson Campbell. Edgar moving it along the boards. McCormick still there for Barrie. Edgar had it there for a moment. Loose puck coming out with it is Hayden Ellis. Ellis gets this one out to center. Going to be picked up by the Colts. It's that loose stick again that's been sitting at the Barrie blue line. Cameron Reed dumping this one in around the boards. Hanser got a stick on it. Goes in the air. Arquette trying to play it. Arquette digs it free. Comes back towards the point. To the net. Backhand. Tucks around. Hits the post. That was Bilecki who strikes iron. He made a nice move at the net, but could not beat the post. That's the best chance of the game so far for the Kitchener Rangers, coming with 9 minutes remaining. Puck's in front, poked away by Kirsch. Ben Wilmot nearly got a gift in front of the Ranger net. Kitchener with possession back behind their own goal. Rangers are going to move this one ahead. Pridham quickly sends it across. That pass doesn't connect with Arquette. Emerton sends it up to Zabeski. Back to Wilmot. Wilmot to Zabeski. He's going to send this one into the Ranger territory. Kayshawn Aitchison down low. Sends it around. Emerton on the far side. Keeps it behind the Ranger net. McNeil is there for Kitchener. McNeil flips this one ahead. That's going to bounce into the Barrie zone. Zabeski is there to collect it. Andonovski from his own blue line. He's going to skate it back. His pass will find Woolley. Woolley up to Humphreys. Woolley catches up to it, sends it across, but that's going to go off the stick of Hemming, who's trying to find O'Reilly on the near side. Rangers keeping it at the point. Andonovski towards the net. His shot on goal, and Hrebeck able to make the save as Matthew Andonovski was trying to take advantage of the crowd in front of the net.
A couple good chances. Kitchener's starting to get their looks. What a play by Bilecki. Getting it down low around the defense, but just right off the post. He had Hrebeck beat and had an opening to open the scoring there, but couldn't. And then Andonovski, a good look there, stepping up on that blue line, getting closer and closer to Hrebeck, but then Hrebeck able to find it as it was coming. Makes another nice save there for the Colts.
Well, right now, shots favoring Barrie 6-4, but that's been the best chance for the Rangers. Bilecki getting it around Ben Horebic. But if you're a Colts fan, you have to be pretty thrilled with this start, and even for the coaching staff, as the Colts are continuing that forecheck, even with that fourth line being out there. We saw McCormick and Edgar battling behind the net, trying to create those turnovers, and nearly paid off.
Yeah, a couple good opportunities for that fourth line. Edgar just trying to flip it forward to McCormick. That one just missed. It looked like McCormick may have had the angle to get it to the net. And I think it's a sense of calmness almost with the crowd and the coaching staff, where you can say as many times as you want, we believe we're still in it, but the only way you can show that is by going out on the ice and doing it. For Barrie right now, they've had a good start. I'm sure this crowd that spent money on their tickets are pretty happy.
Well, we've got 8:09 left to go in the first period as these two teams go back and forth. I see the chat's been busy so far here tonight.
Yeah.
I see that we've got someone calling for Ben Wilmot needs to have an electric game, or an effective game, I think I'm seeing.
Wilmot needs an effective game. AI said the game was Wednesday. Stupid AI. Barrie top six forwards need to make something happen. Go Rangers. I really enjoy watching Aitchison's play of late with his 2 late goals in game 2 and 3, and then sweep time.
We're getting a little bit of everything in there.
AI said the game was Wednesday.
See, AI is still learning a thing or two about junior hockey.
Oh yeah, it is.
Well, there's been a few times, even when we're on the road, we ask AI questions about the OHL, and it's like, no, it's wrong.
Well, I did playoff predictions at the start of the year, and I tried putting in AI, see what it said. It said Kitchener-Brantford. I think it basically just picked the higher seed every single time.
Yeah.
And then it said something about, like, I could do a prediction for next year, and I was like, okay, is it smart enough to understand the junior hockey landscape? It was not.
No, it failed.
Kitchener-Brantford back-to-back finals.
Yeah. And it was saying that overagers were going to return. It was bad.
Matthew Schaefer was getting traded to the Colts.
Something like, yeah, so don't trust AI when it comes to junior hockey at this point. Sam O'Reilly from the corner. His pass is deflected. O'Reilly gets it at the point. Takes the shot through a crowd. That's going to go wide of the net. Antonovsky fires that one wide. Puck comes to the point. Woolley can't keep it in. Jared Woolley from his own blue line passes up to Sherratt. He's just going to tip it into the zone. Von Richter back to play it. Von Richter leans into O'Reilly. Aitchison will come up with a loose puck. Sends it ahead to Crombie. Getting in the way of that was Lamb. Lamb, though, his pass is blocked. Colts trying to force it back into the Rangers zone. Instead, it comes back to Von Richter in front of his own net. Rangers right now are completing a line change. Kayshawn Aitchison with possession. Passes this one up to Eamon Edgar. Edgar's going to send it deep. Gardner gives chase. Loose puck. Campbell tied up by Edgar. Carson Campbell loses it. Ends up going back behind the Ranger net. Rangers with possession. Von Richter got in the way of the pass attempt. Pucks it down low. Von Richter trying to send it back. Crombie's there now for the Colts. Campbell takes it back behind his own net. Here's Edgar again on that forecheck. He's been relentless this shift. Lamb loses it to Hanser in front to Crombie, but he couldn't get a stick on it. Now the Rangers will clear it. Puck's at center, batted away by Von Richter. Campbell up to Lamb. Lamb on the far side into the attacking zone, trying to go around Horebic. His stick's tied up. Colts get it back to the point. Not out, kept in by Romano. Romano shot, scores right off the bar and in. Luca Romano, he struck the crossbar. And just like that, the Kitchener Rangers, they're up 1-0.
Well, Barrie was getting some opportunities there. Edgar's pass out in front just misses. Kitchener trying to go back the other way. Nice play by Von Richter to knock it down. Would have been a potential breakaway for Kitchener, but eventually the Rangers able to get that puck back. Campbell takes the hit from Edgar to get it into the zone, and then Romano, no one's pressuring him there. He just has space to step up, and what a great shot that is from that angle. But if you're Barrie there, you got to get some pressure on him. You can't let him just sneak in and fire off a shot like that. There's a reason the Islanders drafted him, and it shows right there.
And I don't even think Horebic saw that. There was a Ranger player parked right in front of him, as Luca Romano now has 3 goals in this playoffs, and the pressure has just been dialed up here on the Barrie Colts. There's the shot to the net. Zaleski after it. He's drilled. Aitchison back to the line. Wilmot, his shot blocked in front. Getting in the way was Pridham. He doesn't have a stick. Puck's going to go down the ice. Alone is Woolley. Somehow he got behind the defense, but he couldn't get the shot away. Woolley has it taken by Emerton. He's going to clear it. Out to center. Reed puts it right back into the Barrie zone. Cole Emerton goes back behind his own net. Colts trying to regroup with 5:38 left to go in the first period. Kayshawn Aitchison with it. Aitchison up ahead. That pass deflected. Still finds Zaleski. Sends that one over. There's the shot stop. Rebound. Wilmot around in front. No one there for the Colts. Picking it up now is Hemming. Hemming at the point. Back to Eliasson, and he snaps his stick on the one-timer. Rangers trying to get it ahead. Far side Edwards. Edwards across to Sherratt. Sherratt takes a hard hit. In front was Edwards, but he couldn't get it to go. So the fans reacting to Eliasson's big hit on Gabe Sherratt. O'Reilly along the boards. That's kicked away by Wilmot. Colts will clear it. Ben Wilmot skates it in for the Colts. Hits the brakes. Wilmot, he is run over. That was Edwards with that hit. Colts keep it down low in the Ranger zone. Campbell, he's hit into the boards there by McCormick as the hits just keep on coming. I feel like we're a classic rock radio station with all these hits. Puck goes off the end boards. Edwards can't play it. Newton up to Schneid. Schneid's going to get through with the center ice. Chasing after it's McCormick. Andonovski will take it away. Matthew Andonovski passing this one forward at center ice. Here is Elenis. Elenis on the wing. Fans on the shot. He had Passmore in the way. Colts will send it around. Andonovski at the point. Puts that one off the boards. Elenis down low for Kitchener. One-timer Ellis. That's blocked by Aitchison. It's in the feet of Passmore. And McCormick's going to clear. That hits the scoreboard. So we'll get a face-off back in the Barrie end as we've got all the big hits and some good chances at both ends of the ice, but it remains 1-0 Kitchener.
Well, but everyone out on the ice there had some good hits there. I mean, they were running each other over there. What a shift from both sides. And Barrie down 1-0 now, and just got to stick with it. I mean, they've trailed a lot in this series. Kitchener's gotten that opening goal a few times here, and Barrie's continued to fight back and fight back. They've tied the game multiple times in all 3 games of this series so far, and obviously at some point the goals got to start going in for you before they go in for them, but right now you just got to focus on getting one back, tying this game. You got 4:08 to work with here in this first period, and it's been a solid start for this Barrie Colts team.
Well, they've been playing the forecheck, and I'm sure for Dylan Smoskowitz, he'll say they're playing Barrie Colt hockey, playing with the aggressiveness down low, trying to create those turnovers. But this Kitchener team, they just go to show how patient they can be. And we've been seeing that all series long, where they're okay to take it back in their own zone. They'll take their time before they make that pass and try and catch the Colts on a line change.
Yeah, Barrie had that strong start, but Kitchener, they just stuck with it. They calmed things down. The shots were 6-3 for Barrie. It's 7-2 for Kitchener since then, and that's allowed them to get things started, and they were getting those offensive zone chances, and then eventually that leads to the goal from Romano. A guy that hasn't had the greatest of postseasons, only 3 goals now for him, but playing on the line with Christian Humphreys and Jack Pridham, you know you're going to get your opportunities. And like I said when he scored, he's an NHL drafted prospect for a reason, and you can't let him step up like that.
Yeah, so we haven't really seen much production from that second line of the Kitchener Rangers. In game 1, when Edwards was on Romano's wing, he scored in that game of the series. But outside of that second line for Kitchener has been very quiet.
Yeah, that was their only, Romano's only point of the series was on that assist.
Exactly. Right now it is a 1-0 hockey game for the Kitchener Rangers, as these two teams will get ready to take the face-off back in the Barrie zone. They're going to have the face-off to the left of Ben Harevik. Shots 10-8 in favor of the Rangers. So they're just wrapping up the TV timeout so we get play back underway. But this Colts team now down by 1. They've been in this situation before in the postseason where they've had to battle back. And we'll see if they have enough in the tank to do it here again against Kitchener.
We saw last game, Dylan Smoskowitz was moving the lines back and forth. It wasn't just the D pairings that were mixing and matching, it was the forward lines too. And expect that to continue as this game goes on.
So Crombie's going to step in to take the draw against Hayden Ellis. That's won by the Colts. Aitchison around his own net. Far side, Gardner. Gardner flips it up to Desiderio. Desiderio gets it down into the Rangers zone. Campbell chasing after it. Reed flips this one down the ice. Aitchison gets underneath it. Puck got by him, however. Puck's rolling into the Colts zone. Gardner receives the pass. Desiderio gives it up to Crombie. Calvin Crombie takes the hit. Rangers send it right back into the Barrie zone. Ellis on the forecheck. Aitchison's going to send this one around. Gardner's on the far side. Brad Gardner to Kayshawn Aitchison. Aitchison to Desiderio. That bounces. Rangers take it. Carrying this one ahead is Romano. Already a goal tonight. His shot deflected as Emerton got a stick in the lane. And suddenly we're seeing a little more of Luca Romano here.
Well, you never know who's going to be the story game by game. Last time it was Dylan Edwards. This time off the start, it's been Luca Romano, and good look there, but Emerton sticks with him, gets that stick out in front, and just calm and composed allows him to knock that puck away.
Now down to 3:25 remaining in the period. Face-off won by the Colts. Eliasson's going to flip this one down the ice. Andonovski got a piece of it. Hemming finds it. Hemming with the shot. That's blocked by Woolley. Puck's in the corner. It's bouncing around. Wilmot knocks it away. Wilmot back to the point for Von Richter. Von Richter can't get that one to go too far. Rangers skate it up. It's Jack Pridham. Pridham takes the shot. That misses that far post. Romano keeps it in at the blue line. Puck's in that far corner. Andonovski's slow to get up. He was involved in a collision in front of the Barrie net. Hanser skates it out for the Colts. Kirsch slows it down behind his own net. Puck's loose. Von Richter in front to Hemming, but he can't get that shot to go. Hanser fires. That goes off the leg of O'Reilly. Puck's in the corner. Wilmot trying to take it away as they battle it out. Hemming back to Hanser. Hanser rides the line. His shot blocked by O'Reilly. Hemming gets it again for Barrie. Comes back to the blue line. His shot off his skate. That's going to go to the corner. Zabeski gives chase. Rangers take it. Woolley has it knocked away by Zabeski. Rangers get it to the blue line and out. Far side is Christian Humphreys. He'll hit the brakes. Humphreys inside the line, flips it over to Reed. His shot deflected. That's going to go in the air into the corner. Sherratt taken to the boards by Lowe. William Schneider gets it out to the neutral zone. Flips it to the far side. First one on it will be Edwards, and he's just going to put it right back in the Barrie zone. And it's going to be an icing call with 2:01 remaining here in the first.
Strong shift there for Kitchener's defense. Barrie at the top line out. They were doing a good job moving the puck around, but couldn't really get any lanes. It was all shots from the point. A couple shots from Hanser, both blocked, and then Hemming tried to send one from the point. That one got blocked as well. The best chance was that Hemming look for the one-timer, but fanned on that one, and the chance was negated.
Face-off will come to the right of Kirsch, won by the Rangers. Andonovski will get to it, sends it out to center, knocked down by Aitchison. He'll put it right back into the Ranger zone. Reed takes it back behind his own net. Doesn't wait too long as he'll skate it forward. Sherratt on the near side. Dumps this one in. Aitchison back after it for Barrie. He loses an edge. Emerton trying to dig it free. Sends it along the boards. Andonovski's there for the Rangers. That's sent forward. Aitchison back to Emerton. Emerton off the glass. Lowe took a swing at it. Kept in by Woolley. Woolley up the wing. Sherratt from the corner. Poked away by Lowe. Gabe Sherratt again for Kitchener. To Edwards. Edwards, his shot wide of the net. That's going to sail all the way back to the Kitchener blue line. Rangers still with it. Andonovski will pass this one out to center. Pass nearly picked off by Gardner. Gardner will get it, but that's a glove-to-head pass by Evan Passmore, and we'll get a whistle.
Passmore just trying to knock that one forward. Knocks it down with a glove, and then Gardner with the touch. And just about a minute left in this period. And Kitchener up 1-0. Wonder if we'll get a similar game to game number 3 where Kitchener gets that first goal and then they kind of just focus on shutting down Barrie instead of going for too much offense. And that allowed them to take a 1-0 lead for a while, and into the late stages of the game. Wasn't until about halfway through the third that Neil Hemming was able to tie the game up.
Well, the pace in this game has certainly changed. Off the hop, there was a ton of hits, back and forth action, but since that goal from Luca Romano, it's been quite the defensive chess match now. As the Colts are trying to get it out of their zone, Passmore forced to go back to the far corner. Passmore takes the hit. Around the boards it goes. Zaleski hits the line and out. We're in the final minute of this first period. Rangers up by 1. Passmore sends it ahead. Edgar tips it into the Ranger zone, but Campbell's there to collect it. Reed skates from behind his own net. He's got some speed. 44 seconds left. Humphreys dumps this one in. Von Richter back behind his own net. He'll send this one around to Gardner. Brad Gardner trying to keep it away from Romano. That pass deflected. Edgar gets to the line and out. Brad Gardner, but they're going to call this a glove-to-head pass as it went off the glove of Eamon Edgar.
Shot's still reading 10-8. It's, like you said, it's been a slower pace over the last couple of minutes, and Barrie just trying to get back going here. And goal in the last minute would definitely do wonders for this group.
Right now, the Colts just looking for that spark to get them back into this hockey game, but the Rangers kind of smothering that any sort of spark that the Colts can develop. As the Rangers get it off the draw, Gabe Sherrod has it in the corner, sends it behind the net. There's Aitchison. He'll send this to the point. Andonovsky's there. His pass is blocked, and Kitchener can't keep it in the zone, so it's delayed offside. They have to tag up. 12 seconds left in the period. Von Richter up to Aitchison. Kayshawn Aitchison sends it across. Here's Hemming. Hemming with a shot. That's blocked. O'Reilly picks it up. He's just going to send it down the ice. And that will do it for the first period as O'Reilly wisely just put it down the ice to get the icing. And he knew there wasn't a lot of time left on the clock, so ends up getting the buzzer as it's a 1-0 score here for the Kitchener Rangers.
A good start for Barrie, but then Kitchener, they started getting their opportunities of their own, and kind of felt like this period kind of shifted in favor of the Kitchener Rangers there. And for Barrie, I mean, it's not a period to be super disappointed with. They're down 1-0, yeah, but at the end of the day, guess what? They were down 1-0 in game number 5 against Brantford going into the second period, and that's when they started to get things going. So for Barrie, maybe more of the same from the start of the period, that first half, but maybe not the second half.
Well, like you said, it was a great start to the game there for the Barrie Colts. Even the first face-off. Jaden Newton takes down Sam O'Reilly. Maybe that should have been a penalty for interference because he didn't go for the puck, but that was the tone that the Colts were setting. They were hitting everybody who was in a white sweater, O'Reilly especially. There was a couple times where Passmore, he would just go after him in the corner just to try and get him off his game, but ever since Luca Romano's opened the scoring, his game's had a real different feeling.
Well, it feels like Barrie's gone a bit away from that forecheck and that physicality. After the goal, we haven't really seen as many big hits. We saw that one shift with a ton of thunderous hits. Then Kitchener got the goal a shift or two later, and it kind of just stopped. And for Barrie, you want to get back to that game and keep hitting everything you see. It was working out for you, so try and get back to that.
So we'll see what message the Colts receive from Dylan Moskowitz in the intermission, but one player that's had a fantastic series for the Barrie Colts, William Schneider. In the first 2 games of the series down in Kitchener, he had some breakaway chances,
and so tonight, or Sunday night, he found the back of the net finally. Didn't see too much from that line in the first period, although as the game gets on, they seem to get better, so it'll be interesting to watch how that line works the rest of the way.
So William Schneider, right now 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in the playoffs, but he's definitely one player that's plugging away here for the Colts. And pregame, Josh had a chance to catch up with the Barrie Colts forward, and we'll catch up with that conversation.
We're joined by Colts forward William Schneider. William, you guys are down 3-0 in the series, but based off the way the last series goes, I doubt you guys feel like you're out of it yet.
Yeah, no, I think, we're just continuing with our daily focus and just going to play our game, and there's no doubt in that room, right? We're just full of belief. We're a brotherhood, and then we're just going to keep giving everything we got.
Obviously coming off 2 overtime games, pretty tough losses, but at the same time, that's got to give you guys even more confidence knowing you're 1 shot away from a win and getting back in this series.
Yeah, I think, just a couple bounces a different way. You never know how those games go, and, like I said, there's no doubt, and we're just going to keep playing our game, and it's a brotherhood in there, and we're not worried at all. So.
And last game in the third period feels like you guys kind of started getting those opportunities more. You had a really nice goal, Parker Von Richter, a nice move, 3 goals in the period total. Did it feel like you guys were starting to get more of those offensive chances back going?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to build off of that, and we're just going to keep trying to play our game and stick with what's worked for us and just play Colts hockey. You know, we're pretty confident that if we do that, then we'll get the result we're looking for.
And for you, I mean, a pretty cool goal there, dangling through the defense. What were you thinking in that moment?
Yeah, you know, I was just trying to. I saw the bouncing puck and I saw him coming, just tried to make a move and just get it on net. And then, you know, it was awesome just to hear the crowd. You know, Sadline was rocking. Barrie's always bringing a great atmosphere, so I love that.
And obviously for you, when that goal goes in, I mean, what must you have been thinking, seeing that crowd get up in the air?
Yeah, you know, I was pretty pumped just to tie it back up there, you know, to give us a chance in that game. And, you know, I think we all like our opportunities and just keep playing that way and see what we can do.
And for you, you're playing a bit more minutes now with no Cole Baldwin and no Joe Salandra. How have you felt over the first 3 games?
Yeah, you know, I think it's just trying to, everyone, you know, we have a pretty next man up mentality, and just guys are trying to step up. And, you know, I think it doesn't matter who it comes from. You know, we've got 25 guys in this family that'll do whatever it takes, and it doesn't matter who it's going to come from, right?
And obviously it felt like throughout the game, Dylan Smoskowitz was mixing and matching the lines. You guys have talked a lot about the brotherhood that you guys have. Do you feel like that brotherhood has allowed you guys to easily connect more when Smoskowitz switches up those lines?
Yeah, I think, you know, there's a nice chemistry going with everyone in the room. Like, I think anyone can play with anyone and we'll be fine. I think it doesn't really matter who anyone's with. Like, there's just that type of tight-knit community, right? Like, it truly is the brotherhood in the family.
Welcome to the first intermission of Game 4, the OHL final between the Barrie Colts and the Kitchener Rangers. Rangers right now up 1-0 after the first period. Luca Romano, the goal scorer for Kitchener. Romano, just his 3rd goal of the playoffs, but what a shot he had there in that first period, right under the bar and in. And that's been the difference, and actually the momentum changer in this hockey game.
Yeah, things have started going Kitchener's way really ever since 2 or 3 shifts before that Andonovsky shot and that Bilecki chance off the post. It kind of felt like they were starting to get things back rolling as a team, and a good finish to that period for Kitchener. And Barrie will be looking to get back to the play that they had to start the period.
Now, everyone who's been tuning into this broadcast knows about the chat, but if this is your first time tuning into this Colts radio broadcast, we have the chat up and running, so if you want to take part in the conversation, even if you just want to say hi and tell us where you're listening from. I know in the last broadcast we had people tuning in from Louisiana, Texas, Australia, so if you want to just say hi and let us know where you're tuning in from, you can put that there in the comments. But looking through this, still seeing a lot of people cheering for both teams, saying go Colts, go Rangers. We also have Joe Babin saying, I really enjoy watching Aitchison's play of late with his 2 late goals in Game 2 and 3. And Aitchison's been fantastic in this series, and really not surprised being the OHL Defenseman of the Year.
Yeah, I saw a post earlier today asking if that guy is the best or most ready prospect, drafted prospect out there right now.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty good question. I mean, he has had such a great postseason, and the playoffs, they're one of those things that takes guys to that next level. I mean, before the playoffs, obviously, Keishon Aitchison was a great player, but I think his stocks in the Islanders organization has improved even more. And we got into that conversation the other night, okay, if he comes in, who comes out? I saw some Islander fans saying, hey, Adam Pellick's value will never be higher. Maybe it's time for him to go out the door.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I know we've had a lot of Islander fans in the chat, so if you're an Islanders fan, let us know your expectations even for Aitchison going into next season. Let's go through some more of the comments. I'm seeing that Braden Schroeder says, how much fight does Barrie have left?
Yeah,
I think that's a great question, especially after how many games they've played over these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been every other day since Game 1 of that series against the Brantford Bulldogs, and it's funny how things work and how quickly they change, because through 2 series, the talk was, only 10 games for Barrie. They're in a pretty good spot right now, and they're rested. They're not tired at all. And then all of a sudden you're going into the OHL finals, and it's like, yeah, we had 1 day off. So that's just how quickly things can change, but that's how it works. You went 7 games, so no matter what, you were going to have to start quickly, and because it comes down to TV schedules and as well the Memorial Cup, it was only going to be an extra day or 2 anyway for Barrie to get off, but still a bit probably frustrating for that group to know that they only have 1 day to prepare, but no excuses. You move on from it, and for Barrie, you got to wonder, though, are they getting pretty tired? This Kitchener team, they can probably still go for a while. They haven't gone deep into any series. They even beat Windsor in 5, so they're pretty rested.
Yeah, so we're seeing more people saying, cheering on the Colts. Come on, Colts. I wish I could watch, is what Miss Barman is saying. Weird Dude is also saying, go Colts. Vegetable, if we're following the trend of this series, what are the odds this game goes to triple? Don't say that.
I'm good. Pass.
Yeah, you don't want to do a triple overtime tonight?
No.
No?
Let's see. Oh, I like this comment. Can't count them out. Being down 3-0 doesn't tell the whole story. The games have been really tight, except maybe the first one. Saw the second and third game live. They have a lot of grit, says Sea Green for life.
Well, that's just it. This series, the way the games have been going, it doesn't feel like it should be one team up 3-0. It's when you get into overtime, it's about those bounces. And for the Rangers, they've gotten those bounces. For the Colts, though, we saw it even against the Brantford Bulldogs, where it was the opposition that would generate more of the play in that overtime period. And Kitchener's had more of the possession game. And for the Colts, it's kind of that outweight the attacks and try and get that transition game going. But for the Kitchener Rangers, playing a solid road game here at the Saddlein Arena. And this series could easily be 2-1 Barrie if the bounces would have gone their way in those 2 overtime games.
Yeah, it could be 2-1. I think with the way Barrie played yet in Sunday's game, they probably felt like they could have deserved to win that game. I think both sides probably felt they could have deserved to win that game. And I think game number 2, it felt like Barrie had just ran out of gas by the time we got to overtime. And it felt like it was a matter of when, not if, the Kitchener Rangers were going to win that game, unfortunately for the Colts. So obviously that was disappointing, but it's like we said, it really feels like a series that could be 2-1 for either team right now.
Yeah.
And Barrie when you're down 3-0, you'd take being down 2-1 right now, especially with a home game here on home ice. And it just makes the idea of this game a whole lot different, especially coming in, and especially right now. Being down 1-0 in a series you're down 2-1 is way different than being down 1-0 in a series you're down 3-0 in.
Now I'm seeing Martin saying the Isles will be better, and they're good now. And Martin's got a point there, because the Islanders, they just missed the playoffs. And now that you're going to have Aitchison and Schaefer maybe being a great dynamic duo going forward, we've got S.K. Woogle? Squoogle, there we go. Listening while brewing lots of beer over in Kitchener, making my night shift survivable. Go Rangers. That's awesome.
That's a unique comment.
If you want to send some our way, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't drink it till September, but...
Well, we can save it.
Yeah, we'll save it.
We'll save it for September.
Yep.
So hopefully the schedule works. Maybe we can have the Rangers here in town at the start of the next season.
Or we could go to Kitchener.
Either or.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever you're brewing, we'd love a sample.
Brew it our way.
Isaac Barnes says, easy to run out of gas when you're playing your 1D 45 minutes a night and your top line's all around 30. And that is a solid point, because for Kayshawn Aitchison, he played, 44 minutes in game number 3, was it? 50 minutes. And if you notice, every TV timeout, the Colts put Aitchison right back out there. So you are taking a risk when you're putting out your players out there quite constantly. And even when you shorten the bench, we saw that in the previous games in the series, where it's just the 3 lines that are rotating, but typically it's the top 6 that we're seeing quite regularly for this Barrie Colts team.
And that's where the health side of things comes into play, because you're missing Cole Baudouin and you're missing Joe Salandra. And obviously for Barrie, that doesn't mean you can get away from using all these depth players, but it shortens the bench. And for Barrie, they're literally down to their last forwards. The scratches listed on a night-to-night basis, the only forwards there are Cole Baudouin and Joe Salandra. They don't have a next up. Alexander Sementsov would probably be next up, and he'd have to be registered and everything. But yeah, that's one of the main reasons Kayshawn Aitchison is playing as much as he is. Yeah, he's going to be playing a ton of minutes with the amount of minutes the Barrie Colts have been going these last couple of games, but he's probably not getting up to 50 minutes if you're able to sit him on the bench for a couple shifts and put a guy like Cole Baudouin out there.
And David Osborne saying, go Colts, no penalties tonight. They've been disciplined so far, although there's a couple plays there where I think maybe the referee's letting them play, considering what's on the line here tonight. And we've got Dane Spears, your quick take on strengths and future prospects of Gardner and Hemming.
Yeah, I think Emil Hemming's going to be a pretty good player. I mean, why is the staff out fixing the net?
Oh, they still have 2 minutes. It's going to be okay.
They better.
Back on track.
Sorry. Anyways, I think Emil Hemming's going to be a really good player. I mean, he's really shown up this season in Barrie, and that's a guy that was pretty motivated coming into the season to make it to the AHL and maybe even the NHL, obviously. Then he comes back here and he dominates. I think he's got a really bright future ahead of him, and the same thing for Brad Gardner. The future's a bit more unclear for him, whether he's going the NCAA route or if he's going undrafted free agent route in the NHL. Of course, he was drafted by the Dallas Stars, but they let go of his rights last summer after a bit of a tough year with the Barrie Colts. He kind of got dealt that bad hand where when he got acquired, it was looking like he'd be in the top 6, and then by the time everything worked out, Barrie was a pretty deep offensive team, and he was playing third center for the group. So I think he kind of got dealt a bad hand at some points last year. This season, he's really showed up, though. He's reminded people that he's a third-round draft pick in the NHL, and he's had a really good season. And I think one day Brad Gardner is definitely going to be under contract for some team and working hard in the ECHL or the AHL at potentially becoming an NHL player.
Well, after being even recognized as the Scholastic player for post-secondary, winning that award, I think the future is bright for Brad Gardner, and I would not be surprised if after this playoff run is over, that maybe we find out he could be heading to the NCAA to continue his career. And then, of course, there's that possibility that he could still find his way playing professional hockey in the National Hockey League or even in the American Hockey League in the future.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that was big about the NCAA rules last year as well, is it was reported that at the end of last season, there was a few players that wanted to go NCAA, but then they found out they didn't have the proper grades, and schooling is a part of it. It's not just you're going to Cornell or Harvard because you're good at hockey. You're going to have to play good, and you're going to have to, well, obviously you're going to have to play good, but you're going to have to be smart. Your grades can't drop. And so for Brad Gardner, that's one thing that is no longer an option, is the bad grades. He's got good grades. He can go anywhere he wants. There's nothing holding him back there. It's just about what team will take him. So if he wants to go to a Cornell or a Harvard, that's certainly a possibility.
So yeah, it's going to be fun keeping an eye on where Gardner goes from here. And also for Hemming, I think he's got a very bright future with the Dallas Stars organization, and would not be surprised if he's playing for the Texas Stars as early as next year. So we're just about ready to go for the second period of play. Sherratt and Carter Lowe mixing it up a bit before we even drop the puck here. But O'Reilly will step in to take the draw against Jaden Newton, and this second period underway. Face-off won by the Rangers. Andonovsky is going to skate this back into his own zone, passes it up the wing. Here's Sherratt at center. That's going to be sent in around the boards. Edwards chasing after it for Kitchener. He'll drop it there for O'Reilly. O'Reilly in front. There's the shot off the post. That one strikes iron. That one fired by Dylan Edwards. Puck sent out in front. O'Reilly can't get to it. Carter Lowe sends this one forward. After it is Aitchison. That puck got away from him. O'Reilly collects it at center. Keeps it away from Schneider and dumps it in. Passmore sends this one around. Here's Carter Lowe. Lowe in his own end. Passing this one forward off the skate of Schneider. Schneider takes it away from Campbell, but puck ends up rolling into the far corner. Cameron Reed back behind his own net. Colts right now completing a line change. Reed chased out by Wilmot. Reed passing this one across. That's dumped in by Pridham. Off the end boards, Humphreys takes the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. Puck goes to the corner. Pridham, he'll play this one around. Hanser gives chase for Barrie. Justin Hanser up the wing. Looks like it makes contact with somebody on the Rangers bench. And we'll get a face-off. 18:54 remaining in this period.
We got asked a question I saw for, I forgot who asked it, but it's pronounced Hrebeck, not Rebeck.
You got it.
Yeah.
Hrebeck.
They were asked about the pronunciation for Hrebeck, and it's Hrebeck.
It's Hrebeck.
Hrebeck.
There you go. It's, when we first met Ben Hrebeck, we were wondering if maybe the H was silent. So a lot of us thought, okay, it's Hrebeck.
Hrebeck, yeah. I've heard Hrebeck before.
Yeah, but Hrebeck.
I think it's in the media guide.
Yeah, it should be. It usually is. Face-offs picked up here by the Colts. Hanser puts it off the glass and out to center. Colts pick it up. Hemming, or Gardner rather, goes over to Crombie, but that got away from him. Chasing after it on the near side is Humphreys. Christian Humphreys, that's knocked around the boards. Rangers get it again. Humphreys back to Woolley at the point. Jared Woolley takes the shot. That's going to go wide of the net. Colts collect it. Skating it out is Crombie out to center. Rangers collect it again. Andonovsky, he'll send this one around the boards. Puck's bouncing, picked up by Justin Hanser. Hanser loses it to Lamb. Tanner Lamb back to Ellenis, and he fanned on that attempt. Puck goes behind the Colts net. Off the sideboards, Ellenis keeps it down low behind the Barrie net. There's Hanser, he's going to send it up. Brad Gardner with it. Out to the neutral zone for Crombie. Crombie takes the shot. Kirsch the save. He juggled it for a moment, but was able to recover. But now we've got Kirsch and McNeil getting a warning there from the referee, and those two will separate quickly.
Nice look there from Crombie. Just comes firing through the middle. Nice shot by the overage forward, and good look, but Kirsch able to get just enough. But we've seen a couple times this series where he hasn't exactly known that it was in the net, but eventually, or sorry, he didn't know he had it, and he's able to hold on to it though.
Well, the Colts looking to get back into this hockey game. 2 minutes now gone in this second period. Face off to the right of Kirsch. That's won by the Rangers. Rolls in front of the Kitchener net. Edwards will skate it out. Far side now for Sherratt in front. Hrebeck the save. There was a Ranger player crashing through the blue paint. Net comes off. That's Sam O'Reilly. He's a little slow getting up. He should be okay. But some good puck movement there by the Rangers.
Yeah, good chance there at the net. Mason Zabeski suddenly flipping that puck down the ice. He just missed wide, and I was watching to see if Kirsch was going to come flying back to try and save it. I don't know, with goalies, they may not like it going in his net, even if it's not a goal.
You just never know with goaltenders. They're such a strange breed.
It's the second period, so we get to watch for the goalie bump.
There we go. Yeah, that was a big deal in game number 3. Every time Hrebeck and Kirsch crossed paths, they would bump into one another. Colts right now have it in their own zone. Zabeski flips this one forward. After it is Hemming. Hemming behind the net takes the hit from Woolley. Colts trying to move it around. Kayshawn Aitchison back to the point. Passes it across. One-timer, but that's blocked by Woolley. Puck's behind the Ranger net. Andonovski sends this one around. After it is Sherratt. Sherratt trying to get it out of the zone. Knocked down by Wilmot. Andonovski will send this one out to center ice. Edwards passing this one over to Woolley. Woolley dumps it in off the end boards. Aitchison will come back to collect it for Barrie. 3 minutes now gone in this second period. Kitchener right now completing a line change. This Kayshawn Aitchison. He's going to take his time behind his own net, waiting for Barrie to also complete a line change. Aitchison will move this one over. Pass more up the wing. Edgar throws a hit there on Cameron Reed. Passmore dumps it in. Kirsch stops it behind the net. Rangers with possession. It's Cameron Reed near side. He's going to skate it behind the net. McCormick gives chase. Reed gets it by Eamon Edgar. Brittam sends it to the near side for Humphreys. That got away from him. Ends up behind the Barrie net. Cole Emberton up to McCormick. Gives this one up to Edgar. Eamon Edgar will just send it into the Ranger zone. First one on it is Reed. Reed quickly passes it up to Humphreys. That's kicked away. Edgar with possession for the Colts down low. Campbell, he's taken into the boards. Humphreys to the net. It went off Campbell. Kirsch was able to react in time, and Kitchener now gets it out. Christian Humphreys in the neutral zone. Weaves his way through, carrying it up the middle. That pass ahead out of the reach of Pridham. Jack Pridham trying to backhand it to the net. That's blocked. Colts recover. Edgar, he'll skate this one out for Barrie through the neutral zone. That's sent deep. Kirsch behind his own net. He'll leave it there for Bilecki. Far side, Arquette comes back after it. Arquette taken to the boards there by Schneid. Schneid trying to dig this one free. Schneid has it, back to the line, Hanser. Near point, Von Richter. Back to Hanser, that pass is deflected as Ellis got a stick in the lane. That's sent back into the Ranger zone as the Colts had to tag up. Puck comes to the near corner. McNeil's gonna send this one around, far side Arquette. Arquette takes the hit, but he's still able to clear it. Newton gives that one up to Von Richter. He's gonna skate this one in. Von Richter passing that one ahead, loose puck, it's bouncing around. Bilecki can't get it out, kept at the blue line. That pass goes off Ellis and out to center. Hanser dumps this one in, delayed offside against the Colts. Bilecki, long pass up ahead to Tanner Lamb. Lamb chasing after the loose puck. He'll collect it here for Kitchener. Gives it up to Arquette. Arquette back to Campbell, who comes off the bench. Campbell hits the brakes, far side. He'll come back to the point, gives it up to Reed. Cameron Reed to Campbell, one-timer! Stopped by Hrebeck as he's able to get a glove on it. 14:40 left here in the second period.
Nice puck movement there by the Rangers, and it's the blue line again being a big part of the play for them. On the point there, Reed gets on his offside and sending it across to Campbell. Nice one-timer look there. So those two coming together, and good opportunity. Barrie trying to reset here. Done a solid job first couple of minutes, but it's Kitchener up ahead in the shot total 3-1.
Face off to the right of Hrebeck. O'Reilly steps in to take the draw. He'll take this face off against Wilmot. No, he won't, because Wilmot's going to be tossed out. So instead, we get Emil Hemming. Face off won by the Rangers. Edwards with possession along the boards. Back to Campbell at the point. Sends it across. Keeping this one in play is Cameron Reed. Reed takes the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. Puck comes to the near side. Campbell after it, trying to keep it out of the reach of Wilmot. Campbell sends this one around the boards, down in the corner. That's Sherratt battling with Aitchison. Sherratt trying to send it in front, taken by the Colts, and we're going to get their first penalty of the hockey game. It's going to be interference, and that's going against Kayshawn Aitchison.
Aitchison going to the box behind the play, and you're getting a mix of cheers and boos. The Ranger fans started cheering, the Colts fans will start booing, and just a bit behind the play there. Aitchison, Sherratt giving him a couple of shots. Aitchison Aitchison going after him. He's got the puck there, and then he hits him again.
It was that extra hit after Sherratt sent it across the ice. So for the Kitchener Rangers, their first power play of the night, it's operating right now at 31.2% in the playoffs, while the penalty kill for Barrie up to 75%. Rangers win the face-off. They're going to move this one around. Edwards along the far boards. He'll move this one around, sends it back to the point. Picked up here by Reed. There's Edwards, one-timer, didn't get all of that. Puck goes behind the Barrie net. At the blue line, Humphreys. Humphreys sends it across. Reed fires, puts that one over the net. Humphreys gets it again for the Rangers, keeps it down low. 1.5 minutes remaining in the penalty to Kayshawn Aitchison. Eliason's gonna send this one around. That's gonna go back to the Kitchener blue line where Christian Humphreys collects it. Humphreys skates it in for the Rangers. He'll send it around, chasing after his Pridham. That's blocked by Von Richter. Pridham gets it again here for Kitchener. Back to the point, Cameron Reed. Reed sends this one over to Humphreys. Down low, Edwards. Humphreys looks to the net, takes his time, now fires, and that's into the glove of Hrebeck as he's able to see that one despite O'Reilly parked in front.
Humphreys so shifty there. Great moves. Great shot, but big save by Ben Hrebeck.
Well, you got some former Barrie Colts in attendance. That's what we're getting the reaction, including former captain Bo Jelsma. Good to see Jelsma back in the arena.
I think there's a few of them behind us as well that Jelsma was just up with a couple minutes ago.
I think that's Cardwell too.
I heard Cardwell, Frasca, Jelsma, Thornton, and I think there may have been one more there.
So that's basically
from
the
Nathan Allenson.
So that's from the 2023 team. So face-off won by the Colts. They're able to get this one out to center ice. Pridham's going to send it across. Humphreys sends this one back to Pridham, goes behind his own net. Pridham leaves it for Humphreys. 43 seconds still to go in the power play for Kitchener. Dylan Edwards from his own blue line. He's going to go for a skate into the attacking zone. Nice move. It got away from him, though, on the backhand, and the puck goes to the corner. Colts collect it. Carter Lowe reaches center ice. He'll flip this one deep into the Rangers zone. Humphreys behind the net. Christian Humphreys, he's going to take his time, gives it up to Bilecki as both teams make changes. 16 seconds still to go in the power play for the Rangers. Humphreys skates this one forward, reaches center. Christian Humphreys up to Edwards, but he's just ahead of the play, and that's going to be an offside call.
Well, that 2022 team, I mean, that was kind of the end of the last era where, you know, that Cardwell and Vierling group, and they had a good run, went to Game 7 of the second round, and one of those series where you wonder what if Evan Vierling was in the lineup, and that kind of started the new era. Was that summer coming into that season that they drafted Beaudoin and Aitchison, and those two, it's the era over the last couple of years, and likely their last season here, and it end up being one where you wonder what if Cole Beaudoin was healthy for the finals.
Well, it's always like that in sports, the what if situations, you know, and it's no different here. I'm sure for Colt fans, they're going to be asking those questions quite a bit about the injuries, but it's the games that are played on the ice, and this Kitchener Rangers team getting those big wins in overtime, especially that double overtime win here Sunday evening, is a huge difference in this series.
It could have been the turning point for Barrie, and obviously only down 1-0 right now. Looks like they're going to kill this off.
That pass is blocked as Rangers win the face-off. Aitchison's back on the ice. That's going to go out of play. So we'll get another face-off as Eliasson having words with one of the Ranger players in the corner. 12-12 left to go in the second period. Still 1-0 for the Kitchener Rangers. And that goal, of course, coming from Luca Romano back in the first period.
That feels like a big moment in this game right now for the Colts. You get that penalty kill. Now time to get back going, get your opportunities, and tie this game.
Well, I'm just looking at the chat because we have the chat up and running, and I see Lee saying, I want Mike, Gene, and Josh to be calling the finals next year when the Colts make it. Well, I
think we're calling the finals.
Well, at least we're calling this finals here. I don't know if the Colts are going to go all the way to the final next year.
You never know.
True. But, that's encouraging.
Yeah.
We'll take that.
We'll do it even if it's not the Colts.
Why not?
Why not?
We just need our laptop and our board, and
Yeah.
they're already putting us in the corner of the arena, so we can make good with any vantage point.
Yeah, we weren't in the press box in Brantford either, so
that's true.
It's the Barrie Colts seem to always find a way to win games, and we always find a way to broadcast. So
there we go. We make good with what we got. So it's a 1-0 hockey game right now for the Kitchener Rangers, and we'll see how this one's going to play out, because for Kitchener, ever since that goal from Romano, they've really taken over the momentum of this hockey game.
Yeah, Kitchener felt like that slow start, but got a couple opportunities right before that, and after that.
If this Colts team's going to turn it around, you almost feel like it's going to start with that goaltending with Ben Horevic.
A couple big saves from him already tonight. You always need your goaltender to steal a game or two for you, and if the Barrie Colts are going to win 4 straight, I can guarantee you at least one of those games, Kitchener's going to be walking out thinking, man, I feel like we should have won this game, but Ben Horevic stole the show, and it may be tonight.
Well, if the Colts are going to live another day, they have to win game number 4 to force a game 5 back at the odd on Thursday. As we're back underway, Rangers with it in the zone. Lamb backhand in front. That's blocked by Schneid. Colts pick it up. They're going to move it out through the neutral zone. Eamon Edgar. He'll send that on goal. Kirsch leaves it at the side of the net. Woolley up ahead. Schneid takes the shot. Kirsch makes the save. Andonovski after that loose puck. Edgar keeps it along the boards. Aitchison sends it towards the net, collected by Woolley. Woolley will give it up to Andonovski. He's going to send this one around. Far side, Elenis gets to the line. Woolley clears it. It's going to go off a stick, so no icing. Horevic decides to play it, gives it to Schneid. Schneid trying to play it around. There's a turnover. Backhand, stopped by Horevic. That was Tanner Lamb parked in front. Colts with it again. It's Cole Emerton in his own zone. Over to Aitchison. Aitchison up the wing. Schneid gets this one to go deep. Icing's waved off, so Cameron Reed has to come back to play it. Reed up the wing. Here's Dylan Edwards. Edwards enters the zone. His shot blocked by Von Richter. Gardner comes up with it. He'll give it to Zabeski. Zabeski flips it into the zone, blocked by Reed. Rangers get it back to the blue line. Here's Dylan Edwards. Edwards passing this one over. O'Reilly takes the shot, stopped by Horevic. Puck comes to the point. Reed can't keep it in. Reed back to Campbell. Campbell will send this one forward. Sherratt gets this one to go deep into the Barrie zone. Eliasson there to pick it up. Flips it up to Brad Gardner. Gardner to Hemming. It's in his skates. He's trying to find it. Takes the bump there from Woolley. Battle in front of the Colts bench. Barrie with possession. Zabeski. He'll send this one in. Kirsch stays in his net. Back behind the goal. Rangers send it around. Zabeski. He's there to pick it up. Gardner flips this one back into the Kitchener zone. Andonovski looking over his shoulder. Hemming puts on the pressure, but it's the Rangers who come up with it. Woolley's pass deflected by Hemming. Sherratt, his pass taken away. Here is Jaden Newton. Newton has that one poked by Andonovski, ends up behind the Kitchener net. Woolley will send it around. Sherratt, that's blocked by Aitchison. Puck's at the blue line, Passmore. Wades, fires, that's blocked by Edwards. Dylan Edwards having an outstanding game again here tonight, blocking shots, creating scoring chances. And he's going to go off for a change. Aitchison, that pass is blocked. Sherratt sends it back into the Barrie zone. Passmore will get it to the blue line. Colts get it out. Jaden Newton now. Up ahead, Bilecki gets in the way. Pass goes off a skate. Desiderio ahead for Crombie. Flips that to the far corner. First one on, it's McNeil. McNeil trying to get it out of the zone. Here's Calvin Crombie. Crombie along the boards, up to Desiderio. That's poked away at the point. Emerton. Emerton rides the line, trying to get around Humphreys. Cole Emerton, the far corner, spins around, sends it back to the point. Edgar fires, and that's deflected wide of the net. And that time it's deflected into the netting and out of play as Humphreys was trying to clear. It was clearly deflected, so no delay of game. And we'll get this face-off back in the Kitchener zone with 9:08 still to go in the second.
Yeah, nice play there by Emerton, getting around, trying to drive the net, can't get an angle, so he sends it back to the point for the oncoming Eamon Edgar. Good shot, but deflected up and over top, and I was just about to ask the question before they actually kind of did it. I wondered if Dylan Smoskowitz would maybe get away from Ben Wilmot and Emil Hemming together to try and deepen your lineup by letting Wilmot drive his own line and giving another center to Emil Hemming here. And that shifts at least. That round of forward lines, you saw Wilmot centering Schneider and Edgar, and then you had Gardner centering Hemming and Zabeski, with that third line kind of becoming Newton, Lowe, and Crombie, and then Lowe had to go off. He lost his glove, and Nicholas Desiderio came on.
Well, what's really interesting, too, is that we're seeing more of Eamon Edgar here tonight, I feel like. And, you know, for the Barrie Colts, Edgar's a part of that future. And Dylan Smoskowitz has talked about him in interviews in the past and how they're going to have to count on him going forward. So that experience that Eamon Edgar is getting here in this OHL final, it's going to go a long way. And he seems to be embracing those opportunities here tonight.
No, and you drafted Eamon Edgar for his offense. And obviously, there's growing pains. He's a young 2009-born player coming into the league this year, and for him, now an opportunity here for Dylan Smoskowitz to give him some minutes with Ben Wilmot, who's been so great all postseason long, William Schneider, who's been one of Barrie's best players this finals. Maybe try and see that offense out of Eamon Edgar over this game here and get you some goals.
So just waiting for the TV timeout to wrap up here at the Sadlin Arena. Kitchener still up 1-0, 9:08 left here in the second period. Shots now 20-10 in favor of Kitchener.
I swear these TV timeouts have gotten longer as the series has gone on.
You know, I was thinking the same thing. Like, they felt long when we were in Kitchener, but I feel
that
like
first period, oh.
Well, it's just getting used to this whole setup. It's taken a bit, and I'm sure even for the players, because you're in a rhythm, you're in a routine all year long, and then suddenly you get to the OHL final, and you have to get used to these TV timeouts, because the team that advances to the Memorial Cup, it's going to be the exact same thing.
Maybe that's why the Colts are down 3-0. They were confused by not having me doing their interviews.
Well, you can go down to the press conference and ask Dylan that after.
Well, they got to win to have a press conference, so.
That's true. Schneider gets it along the boards behind the Kitchener net. He's tied up by Campbell. Wilmot trying to dig it free. Ben Wilmot in front, but that goes through the blue paint. Far side, Emerton. Emerton trying to send it around. The Rangers will get it out. Humphreys sends this one back into the Barrie zone. He's going to go after it himself in a battle with Aitchison. Aitchison will take him into the boards. Schneider trying to dig this one free. Back behind the Colts net. Emerton finds Ben Wilmot. Wilmot, backhand pass, sends it across to Schneider. Schneider on that far side, stopped by Andonovski. Romano's there. Schneider, backhand pass to an open wing. Hemming collects it here for the Colts. He'll chip that one forward. Wilmot had a stick tied up by Woolley, couldn't collect it, and the Rangers will get it out. Hanser back in his own zone. He'll take it back behind the net. Justin Hanser. Long pass, finds Gardner at center. Brad Gardner. He'll flip this one into the near corner. Woolley, first one on it for the Rangers. Lamb on the far side. That's blocked by Hanser. Hanser goes behind the Kitchener net. Taken by Lamb. Lamb's going to flip this one out to center. Passmore has to come back. Edwards with that, or Kent rather, with that speed, trying to catch up, but it's the Colts defense who finds it. Gardner, backhand pass across to Newton. Newton on the wing, takes the shot, puts it over the goal. Gardner, he'll take the shot. Kirsch the save. Puck was loose for a moment. Campbell collects it behind his own net. He'll send it over to Tanner Lamb. Lamb gets it out for the Rangers. Eliasson back at his own blue line. Sends this one forward. Zabeski tips this one deep. Back to play it is Reed. Around to Campbell. Campbell takes the hit. Lamb gets it out to the neutral zone where it's collected by Von Richter. Jaden Newton from his own line up ahead. Here's Mason Zabeski. That pass goes off a skate. Edgar trying to put it in front. He had Reed in the way. Campbell up to O'Reilly, and he's run over by Crombie, who came off the bench. O'Reilly didn't see Crombie coming. He's a little slow to get up, but he's going to stay in the play. Puck comes inside the Kitchener blue line. Sherratt there to pick it up for the Rangers. Far side. Sherratt, his pass goes off the skate of Eliasson. He's drilled into the boards. McNeil will send it back into the Barrie zone. Eamon Edgar back to play it. Delayed offside against Kitchener. And they'll get the whistle as O'Reilly now having some words with Gabriel Eliasson after taking that hard hit at center ice.
Big hit from Crombie there, and unlucky for Sam O'Reilly as well, because Crombie had him lined up there in the neutral zone as he was going down, and so kind of ended up running into his head there as he was going down, but looks like O'Reilly's no worse for wear. We're seeing again the lines mixing and matching right now for Dylan Smosquist.
Well, desperate times call for desperate measures here if you're the Barrie Colts. Trying to get a line that can click and get that goal to tie this game up as the Rangers go to the net. That's blocked in front. Colts will skate it ahead. Here's Kayshawn Aitchison. Aitchison sends it around near side. Edgar plays this one around to Crombie. Crombie's pass is deflected, and Rangers will get it out. Aitchison back to pick it up for the Colts. He'll send it back in the zone. Kirsch with possession behind his own net. Gives it up to McNeil. McNeil up ahead. Sherrod's going to clear it. That's going to go down the length of the ice, and now it's an icing call against Kitchener. With 5:59 left here in the second period, the Colts are getting time in the offensive zone, but a lot of their shots are either getting blocked or going wide of the net right now.
Yeah, that only 2 shots so far this period for Barrie. They've come close to a couple times. Denise Walworth, 3259. You should be traveling broadcasters during the playoffs. Travel around and do guest appearances.
Guest appearances?
We could just go to like every game of the playoffs. Pick a game every night.
Well, there we go. Well, this is actually the first season that the Barrie Colts have had a radio broadcast, because we actually traveled across the OHL this year. We did all 68 games on either the radio broadcast or on Rogers TV, so we should do some more guest appearances.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And I saw someone saying, I'm pleased with this commentary. That's Zamboni. Barrie has top-notch play-by-play people. Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Isaac Barnes says, you should come to my condo and do live play-by-play as I watch TSN on mute.
I didn't know that was a service.
There you go.
Well, could that work?
We'd have to watch the game on the TV, which wouldn't be fun, but if the Colts were to ever come from behind, that's a backup option if Kelowna doesn't work out. We'll just go to someone's basement and watch the game and call it from there.
Could you imagine? We have our setup and we put it in someone's different living room, like each game.
Each game.
We change it up.
We could, with the super chats, whoever donates the most money every game, we go to your house and we commentate the game. Well, Thomas West, when he was busy sometimes, he'd host from his kitchen.
That's true. And as long as you've got snacks.
Yeah.
We're easygoing.
Yeah, we just need snacks and drinks and a working bathroom, and we'll be good.
There we go. Well, we appreciate you for tuning into the broadcast here tonight. I know it's a big game if you're a Rangers fan. Haven't won an OHL championship in 18 years. It's actually been 18 years to the date. May 12th, 2008, they won on home ice in Game 7 against the Belleville Bulls. And in that series, the Rangers were up 3-0, and then Belleville came back with PK Subban and company to force a Game 7, but ultimately Kitchener would win that trophy.
Obviously, maybe a good omen on the side of the Barrie Colts, and as well, the J. Ross Robertson Cup has never been lifted at the Sadlin Arena. Every one of Barrie's series in the finals have ended with them on the road, so this could be a first tonight.
Well, the J. Ross Robertson Cup, it's in the building. And right now the Barrie Colts are hoping it stays in its assigned box. Rangers move this one ahead. Edwards trying to get it towards the net. Kayshawn Aitchison takes it away. Aitchison long pass, finds Hemming at the line. The linesman was in the way. Hemming flips this one over, picked up by Schneider. Schneider takes the shot, stopped by Romano. Schneider trying to play it, but Woolley digs it free. Andonovsky gets it down the ice. Kayshawn Aitchison inside his own blue line. He'll pass this one forward. Hemming enters the zone, trying to take it in, but it's blocked by Andonovsky. Emerton, he's tied up. Hemming trying to dig this one free. Battle continues. Andonovsky's there. Loose puck picked up by the Colts. Hemming goes down. That's going to be a penalty. So the Barrie Colts, they're going to get their first power play of the night. It's going to be a trip as Christian Humphreys is the guilty party.
I think you probably could have called that one from right here. Humphreys goes down, or Hemming goes down thanks to Humphreys. And Luckily for the Colts, there was no missed call there because Kitchener was heading back the other way with a 3-on-0. Big opportunity now for the Colts power play. They're going to start, it looks like, with the second unit. No Emil Hemming out there right now. Kayshawn Aitchison probably going to be out here for the entire 2 minutes, but he's hoping it's less than 2 minutes and the Colts are able to tie the game here.
And this Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. As the Colts move it around, here's Calvin Crombie, far side. Sets up Aitchison. Aitchison has to go back to the point, but it's blocked by Woolley. Kept it at the point momentarily. O'Reilly will skate it out. Sam O'Reilly is going to dump it in as Woolley ended up losing his edge, putting himself offside. Power play down to 1:35. Colts on the far side. Carter Lowe trying to play it from his knees. Von Richter's there. Lowe still trying to move it. Ben Wilmot back to the line to Crombie. Takes the shot. In front, backhand! Put wide by Lowe. Aitchison trying to play it. Crombie fans on it. Sherratt's going to get it out. Sherratt trying to take it from Von Richter. He will. Gabe Sherratt, shorthanded break. Stop. Rebound. They bat at it, and it somehow stays out of the net. What a chance there for Gabe Sherratt, shorthanded. Barrie Colts, they dodge a bullet. 1 minute remaining now in the penalty to Humphreys. Wilmot up ahead to Aitchison. Aitchison along the boards, trying to play it, knocked out by O'Reilly. That pass goes off Sherratt. He's got another shorthanded breakaway. Sherratt on net, backhand, and he'll put it home. The second shorthanded breakaway pays off for Sherratt, and the Kitchener Rangers now have a 2-0 lead.
Well, what an effort from Gabe Sherratt here, shorthanded. Forcing a pair of turnovers the first time. Race for the puck, and he beats out Von Richter, getting back the other way. But Ben Hrebeck, couple big saves, and then here, puck knocked loose to Sherratt, who's home free. Backhander beats Ben Hrebeck. Great play there by Sam O'Reilly, doing it once again, and beautiful backhander by Sherratt. A huge goal for Kitchener, and a power play that could have shifted the momentum in Barrie's favor now has them down by 2.
Sherratt with his 5th of the playoffs, and that's now 6 shorthanded goals this postseason. What a move, Hemming to the net, scores! Emil Hemming responds with a goal of his own, and the Barrie Colts, they're within 1.
Well, that's the response Barrie needed. You go down 2-0 on a shorthanded goal, and it feels like panic could start to set in, but instead Emil Hemming just goes back the other way and finds a way to get the Barrie Colts back within 1. That never say die attitude. Hemming comes through the middle, many expecting him to pass it, but he just keeps going through Kitchener's skaters, gets through 2 there, and then a beautiful deke on Andonovski and just flips it home, glove side on Christian Kirsch. That's a special player making another special play for the Barrie Colts.
So a shorthanded goal at one end for Gabe Sherratt, and a power play goal for Emil Hemming, his 15th of the playoffs. As the Barrie Colts, they're still in it. 3:40 left to go in the second period. Emerton in his own zone. That's going to be deflected out of play, so they'll bring this face-off back. But we saw that in, was it game number 3, where it was 1-0 going into the third period, and then suddenly it was a bunch of shots?
Yeah, all of a sudden, goals left and right. There, back-to-back goals. And I mean, for Hemming there, that's just Kitchener expecting he's going to pass it. And he just never does. And he keeps going and keeps going. And eventually he's home free. Great play to give this team some life.
Colts send it around. Here's Emil Hemming again for Barrie through the neutral zone. Hemming surrounded by white sweaters. Rangers get it out. Ellis puts it in the skates of Ellis. Hemming skates into Campbell. Campbell goes down. Hemming stays on his skates. Puck goes behind the Kitchener net. Ellis sends this one around. There's a hit in the boards there. Hemming on Campbell. He seems to be fired up. Back to the blue line, Aitchison. His shot deflected as Hemming was going to the net to try and get the deflection, but that ends up going out of play.
You know, it says a lot about Kayshawn Aitchison when that puck gets back to the point. Whenever it's on his stick, this crowd starts getting ready to burst. And great opportunity there. What a shift from Emil Hemming. Couple big hits. Campbell tried to run him over in the neutral zone, and Hemming stands up on him. Doesn't let him get the hit. And then in the offensive zone there as well, a big hit on Campbell behind the net, gets the puck loose for Aitchison, and then able to drive the net for that deflection that just missed. Barrie starting to show signs of life here.
Face-off won by the Rangers. Puck goes around their own net. Edwards rather on the near side. Edwards to Campbell. He's going to get this one out to center. Passmore dumps it in. Woolley back to pick it up for Kitchener. Back behind his own net. Gardner trying to keep it away from Andonovski. Andonovski will get it down the ice. Colts chase back after it. It won't be enough for icing as Evan Passmore will find it. Up ahead to Aitchison. Aitchison up to Zabeski. Quickly to Gardner. Gardner on the far wing. His shot off the leg of Andonovski. Woolley puts it back behind his own net. Gardner gives chase. Takes it from Andonovski. Back to the point. Bounces off the skate of Eliasson, and Woolley's going to get it out. O'Reilly lost the handle of it. That goes around the Barrie net. Eliasson with possession. He'll skate this one forward. Here's Hemming. Hemming into the attacking zone for the Colts. Takes to the far side. There's a pick play as Hemming puts it in front side of the net. Romano's there. Carter Lowe trying to dig it free. Campbell passes under it. Now it's a delay of game penalty against Jack Pridham. And the Barrie Colts are going back on the power play.
Jack Pridham, only 1 point so far this game. Or this series, sorry. And there, opportunity to get it out, but you can't. Now the rest of this period is going to be spent on the power play for the Colts. A chance to tie this game going into the break. What a huge goal this would be.
Barrie already 1 for 1 on the power play, although they gave up a shorthanded goal the last power play. Faceoff will come to the left of Kirsch. O'Reilly taking the draw against Gardner. Colts win it back to the point. Von Richter to the net, and that's deflected wide. Hemming backhand in front. It's rolling, sent to the corner. Gardner chasing after it. Puck sent to the line, kept in by Von Richter. Von Richter ahead for Hemming. Hemming on that far side, drops it back to Wilmot in the air. Humphreys reaches for it. He's able to get it down the ice. Rebick. He's going to leave it there for his defense. Parker Von Richter. 1:33 still going the power play for Barrie. Wilmot passing this one forward to Hemming. Chips it up to Aitchison. That goes deep. Campbell collects it for the Rangers and right away gets this one down the length of the ice. Rebick up to Von Richter. Power play now down to 1:12. Emil Hemming trying to skate it in, makes the move ahead. Wilmot shot stopped by Kirsch, makes the shoulder save. As suddenly Ben Wilmot found himself a lane to the net.
Barrie kind of out of nowhere there, sneaking in. Hemming gets it into the zone and found the lane. Wilmot was loose, driving the net. Great save by Kirsch though, gets it on the shoulder, just enough of it. It's a big power play for Barrie, and obviously on the other side for Kitchener's penalty kill, Kirsch has to come up big a couple times here to keep them out in front.
Yeah, the Barrie Colts on the Frontline Hockey Apparel power play. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com as the Rangers get to the line, not out. Here's Cole Emerton. Emerton to Aitchison, sends it across to Wilmot. Hemming on the far boards, back to Emerton. Cole Emerton takes the shot side of the net, trying to do the quick tic-tac-toe play. It's kept in at the point. Kayshawn Aitchison, his pass across deflected, and the Rangers will get it out. That's going to go down the length of the ice as we're in the final minute of the second period. 40 seconds left in the frame. 36 seconds still in the penalty to Jack Pridham. Wilmot gets this one to go behind the Kitchener net. Campbell's there, trying to send it around. Andonovski taken there by Wilmot, has it along the boards. Aitchison trying to dig it free as it's a rugby scrum in the near corner, right below our broadcast booth.
I'm going to join them.
You want to join them?
I'll get the puck, guys.
There you go. Here comes O'Reilly, shorthanded, backhand to the net, and that's going to go wide of the goal. 8 seconds left in the period. Pridham ready to come out of the box. Skating in is Schneid. Schneid fires, and that goes over the net. Carter Lowe after it behind the goal, in front at the buzzer, as Jaden Newton was alone in front, but it couldn't get that one in time as right now Carson Campbell a little slow getting up after that battle with Carter Lowe, but he's on his skates, so a good sign there for Ranger fans, but still a good push late for the Barrie Colts, but could not get it to go as it's still 2-1.
Well, it's a game of inches. It's a game of seconds. If that puck comes out in front 2 seconds earlier, we're tied at 2. Kirsch goes down. Newton hammers a shot on that, but you can see the look on Newton's face of disappointment after that. Barrie, that's a huge power play goal from Emil Hemming. Obviously, you want it to be tied coming out of one of these power plays, but at the end of the day, you're still in it, and you've got some life going, and you realize Kirsch is beatable now. That's a big power play goal for the Colts. Got to get way more chances. 12 shots just isn't going to cut it. So some big opportunities in the third. You know they're going to be playing very desperate hockey.
Well, it just goes to show, too, because they've had the possession time, but the Kitchener Rangers blocking those shots, getting sticks in the lane, not making it easy for the Colts, so they'll have to dig deep to try and save their season as they're down to their final 20 minutes here at the Saddle Arena in Game 4 of this OHL final. So we're going to take a bit of a break so we can rest up our voices, but we will return, and we'll also take a look at that chat in just a few minutes.
Well, it's the second intermission from the Sadlin Arena here, 2-1 for the Rangers after the second period, and we're joined by a special guest, and our latest special guest is our boss, the producer at Rogers TV, Josh Kotfa. So for those that maybe don't recognize him because you wouldn't see him out too often, Josh is the one in charge of running the Rogers broadcasts. And so how long have you've been doing the Rogers broadcast for a long time, but you've just recently become the producer a few years ago, correct?
Yeah, so I started as a volunteer back in 2013. I volunteered all throughout my high school career. I did my co-op with Rogers, and then I went to school for broadcasting at Humber College. And then I got hired back in June of 2021. I've been doing the Rogers broadcast since then as a producer.
And so for you, for those that wouldn't know, that maybe don't have a broadcasting background, what does that day-to-day look like, especially during Colts season, during a week where you've got a Colts game?
Yeah, so the Colts, it's a beast. Producing the broadcast, it's not easy work. Usually a game starts, I start prepping for the next game right after the last game. There's lots of work that goes into these broadcasts. You got to follow the storylines, find the trends, tell those stories, and you have to tell those through either video packages or graphics. We don't want to be just having talking heads with having Mike and Josh talk and Gene talk. We want to support what they're talking about through graphics and stuff like that. So day to day, game day, show up around 10. Talk to our commentators, find out what they want to talk about, build the graphics from there, and, prepare for the show. So my day starts around 10 a.m. and I work right through till 11 o'clock midnight sometimes. So it's a lot, but it's a lot of fun.
And obviously, like you mentioned, you can't just come in without following the OHL. You got to follow the league so that you know your commentators aren't just coming on talking about garbage that you don't want to listen to.
Exactly. You really got to pay attention, not just Barrie, because obviously we're the Barrie Colts and we're the home broadcaster, but we got to tell stories what's happening around the league as well. So it's not just following the Colts, it's following everyone.
And obviously at the Sportsnet TSN level, it's a bunch of people getting paid to do the job, but outside of us and our freelancing opportunity, you're the only paid person. It's a bunch of volunteers coming together to put out the effort of a good broadcast.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people don't realize, Rogers TV, Your TV, Cable 14, Eastlink, they're all hardworking volunteers to produce the broadcast. I couldn't do my job without the work of these volunteers, and it's because of these volunteers that we have the productions we do, because we cannot do this on our own. We really heavily rely on these volunteers, and some of them are working just as hard as all of us. We shouted out a couple people before, like Braden and all that, who come in 1 p.m. start building these graphics, and they're passionate hockey fans as well, just like that, just like us. So it's a lot of work and a lot of volunteering as well.
Well, let's talk about that, because it seems like throughout the year you've had it easy with Braden right by your side.
Yeah, so so Braden, he's a great volunteer, and obviously our camera operators too. Shout out a couple more out: Avery, Delaney, Corey, who's our team lead. Corey is our technician down here. We do things a little bit differently than a standard broadcast. We kind of do a remote integration broadcast where we have 2 crews in 2 locations. So it's a lot of work, it's a lot of teamwork, and a lot of volunteers that produce these shows as well.
And for those that are watching, obviously volunteers year by year, they come, they go, and a lot of them are coming back next year. But for anyone in the chat that may be an aspiring broadcaster or camera operator, what can they do to become a volunteer?
Yeah, so if you're interested in being a volunteer, definitely check it out. Go to our website, rogerstv.com, select your region. It's not just Barrie. We have markets all across Ontario producing OHL games. So just go to rogerstv.com, select the location you'd like to volunteer, and fill out the application online to go from there.
And for you, is this the end goal, or is there future steps in your future?
I mean, this is a great home for now. I love my job. I love my day-to-day, and we keep it going.
Well, that's Josh Koffa, producer at Rogers TV, and our boss for Barrie Colts games. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll catch up with the chat as the intermission rolls on here at the Sadlon Arena.
So it is the second intermission of Game 4 between the Barrie Colts and the Kitchener Rangers. Kitchener right now holding on to that 1-goal lead. It's a 2-1 score. So for the Barrie Colts, needing to dig deep here if they're going to save their season and force this series to a Game 5 back in Kitchener, which would be on Thursday. And if there is a game number 5, we will have the Colts radio broadcast live from the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. But we'll have to wait and see if the Colts can get a win here first.
I got a feeling we're going to see you guys on Thursday.
You think so?
I think so. I think that goal got them some momentum, got them pushing. They need to create some more opportunities, but yeah.
We could still do the broadcast from Kitchener even if there's no game.
Yeah, we can just...
Like we have the chat,
yeah,
and we can all come together.
We should think about, like, you know, even joking about that, but, you know, in the summer we'll all come together, and we can maybe just talk with the chat.
There we go. Speaking of the chat, let's see
talk
what's going on.
All right, David Kyle, 2073. Everett and Prince Albert are both great teams, tied at 1, but there's a clear reason why the Silvertips have been ranked number 1 in the CHL for most of 2026. We don't really follow the Everett Silvertips.
I've been trying to keep track, especially as this playoff went on, and that Everett Silvertips team.
Is that the one with Carter Bear?
Yeah, they've been dominant. The Silvertips, they're the favorite in that series against Prince Albert. And then, of course, in the Quebec League, you've got Moncton and Chicoutimi. Moncton, of course, won the Quebec League title last year, so they're looking to be back-to-back. And that's the fascinating thing, too, about the Memorial Cup. So you get all 3 winners, but you're not familiar with any team, so you're going to have to get used to new systems and whatnot.
Especially, at least the OHL broadcasters next year, it's in Guelph, so A, you're going to be able to drive. B, you're going to at least know one other team here. It's in the WHL, which is worst case scenario. You got to fly out. You got to learn all these new names. And CYKF Zamboni, Colts goalie is awesome. Cannot take anything away from him. He has stood on his head this entire series. And then David Kyle added, yep, only reason Colts got by league favorites in Brantford.
Well, because of Ben Hrebeck. You know, I would probably say you're probably not far off because Hrebeck was a huge factor in that Eastern Conference final.
Yeah, really stole the show. And even in that game 7, he was kind of the story in the second period. First period and third period I thought were really good for Barrie. Outside of that, Richard says, hello, everyone. I am back. I hope we have one of those famous third periods and the Colts turn this around. And that's one thing. I mean, it felt like Barrie was kind of getting back to that style that they liked to play in the third last game with 3 goals, but in those first 2 games, it was more Kitchener with the third period success.
Well, the Rangers have had more of the possession time in this series come third periods, especially game number 1, where it just seemed like the Colts couldn't get anything going. But will there be late heroics again from Keyshawn Aitchison? We'll have to wait and see. That's going to be the big question mark.
Yeah, a lot of talk about Hrebeck. As much as I'm a Rangers fan, I would love to see the series extended. Barrie has some tough breaks. They deserve more than just 4 games, and I think that's something we've touched on a lot, is that it feels like Barrie should have had a win by now. Yeah,
it doesn't feel like a typical 4-game sweep. The Colts have been battling hard, even missing a couple of their key players from their lineup, and they're still making a series of it. So it does feel like this series should be more than a 4-gamer.
Got some comments from the interview. Love being a Rogers TV volunteer, says Vegetable. Richard Billings, the hard work shows. Watch every game I can. You all do a great job. Zamboni, volunteers deserve much more credit than they receive. Way to go. Lee, I used to be a volunteer for Rogers Barrie. Josh is a great kid. Worked with him when he first started. And yeah, it's a big community at Rogers TV Barrie. It's a really great group, and we're lucky to have a great group like that.
Yeah, so if you want to volunteer and you live in Barrie, or if, even in Kitchener, they've got Rogers TV in Kitchener, you can always become a volunteer. They're always looking for people to help out, being camera operators, doing the audio, even just helping out with the setup and tear down. So it's a very important job. We wouldn't be able to do the TV broadcast without the volunteers, and I'm glad Josh Koffa was able to come on here, because I know he could be a little hesitant being on camera. He'd rather be the guy behind the scenes, but he's the right person to talk to when it comes to volunteers.
He just looked over at us. I think he's looking in the comments again. So if Rogers had the rights to this game, would the game be televised as well as this play-by-play? Yes, every Barrie Colts home game next season will be on Rogers TV. You can join Mike, Jean, and I there. I don't want to get into that. You guys always talk about hockey. I say mix it up. Go get a hot dog and do a food review to add some balance to the broadcast. You, sir, must be new because we do that a lot.
We have done that. Was it Andrew Wilmot? He keeps wanting us to do a smash burger review, and we keep saying we're going to do it, but we always fall short on our timing.
Yeah, I know. We got to get it figured out. That'll be our live stream in the summer, the Smash Burger stream.
Maybe that's what we need to do.
And it's like a challenge, so whoever eats more Smash Burgers and the more donations come in, the more Smash Burgers we order.
That sounds dangerous. I don't know if we should do that. But I love Smash Burgers. So you know what? I'm okay with that. So the players are on the ice. We're getting ready for the third period of play. Kitchener up by 1. They're a period away from raising the J. Ross Robertson Cup at center ice at the Saddlin Arena. Well, the Barrie Colts looking to delay the celebration and force this series back to Kitchener Thursday. So we'll see which storyline plays out as the third period now underway. Puck bouncing inside the Colts blue line. Evan Passmore with it. He's going to send it forward. At center, carrying it in is Hemming. Hemming will send it over to the board. Zabeski can't catch up to it. O'Reilly passing this one forward. Here's Carson Campbell. Campbell up the wing. Dylan Edwards passing that one over, blocking it. Zabeski. Zabeski will put it off the boards. Here's Hemming. Hemming loses it. Zabeski follows it up, deflected towards the net. And that's going to be guided to the corner. Jared Woolley. He'll skate this one out for the Rangers. That's going to be going down the length of the ice. And an icing call now against the Rangers.
Did you get your vote in for the 99?
Not yet. Have you done yours?
I did mine.
Well, they said we have until the 5 minutes left.
5 minutes left. So
I'm going to wait until probably halfway.
I was wanting to, but I was figuring I'd forget, because that's the hard thing about voting, and we saw it in the Olympics. Connor McDavid won the MVP because it was voted on after the first period. So the storyline of Connor Hellebuck hadn't really came out yet, and so you want to wait as long as possible. I got my vote in, and maybe we can touch on that if Kitchener wins.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. That's the big thing. If the Rangers win, the Wayne Gretzky 99 trophy will be awarded to the playoff MVP. As Gardner keeps in at the point, sends it towards the net. Woolley's there. Crombie trying to take it away. Got a little too aggressive. It's going to be a high stick. Crombie doesn't agree with it, but Kitchener, they're going on the power play.
No, not the start Barrie was looking for here. You want to be more aggressive in this period, but taking a penalty behind the Kitchener net is not the aggression you need. And Kitchener player just going to regroup, and Crombie takes a bit of a whack there. Just maybe trying to be a bit too aggressive to keep that puck in Barrie control. Now Kitchener's got a big power play opportunity to make it a 2-goal game.
This is the second power play of the night for the Rangers. So right now, 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Big face-off here to the left of Ben Hrebeck. Face-off won by the Colts. Von Richter's going to send this one around and down the ice. Reed will be the first one on it. Hemming on the forecheck. He's going to give chase. Puck's left there in the corner. No one there for the Rangers, so chasing back after it is O'Reilly. Or actually, that's Jack Pridham. Pridham going end to end. He's still got it. Pridham to the net. Takes the shot. Stop. Rebound. Humphreys couldn't get there in time. Puck bounces behind the Barrie net. Colts are going to get this one down the length of the ice. A minute and a half still remaining in this power play for Kitchener. Reed back behind his own net. He's going to move this one forward. Here's O'Reilly at the point. Sam O'Reilly decides to drop this one back. Rangers through center. That pass is deflected, goes in the air. Near side, Humphreys gets to it. Eliasson throws the hit. Colts will play it in front. Gardner, and he'll clear it down the ice. Back behind the net is Kirsch as the Rangers trying to set things up. Had a good chance to start the power play, but since then the Colts have done a good job shutting things down. Rangers move it up. Here's Edwards. He's going to dump this one in. Around the boards it goes. Big hit on O'Reilly by Eliasson. Kitchener keeps it at the blue line. Quick pass near side Reed. Reed back to the line. There's the shot. O'Reilly got a tip on it. Blocker save. Rebound. And that's going to be forced to the corner by Romano. Romano's going to send it back to Pridham. Rangers moving around. Cameron Reed at the near point. He'll try and keep it away from Zabeski. Edwards down low. Back to the point. Pridham, but he can't keep it in the attacking zone. Pridham back at his own blue line. Sends it up to Romano. O'Reilly on the far side to the net. Edwards, and he's knocked off stride by Aitchison. Schneider, he'll send this one down the length of the ice. As Bilecki will come back to pick it up for Kitchener. Galecki. He'll drop this one back. Picked up by Lamb. Up ahead to Campbell, and that'll do it for the power play for Kitchener. So the Colts have killed off back-to-back penalties here as the Rangers putting on more pressure, but it's stolen by Jaden Newton. Newton trying to send it forward. That went off Lamb in the neutral zone. Aitchison back behind his own net. Kayshawn Aitchison, he'll regroup. 16:48 left to go in this hockey game. The Colts down by 1. Right now, shots favoring Kitchener 27-12. Puck's out through center ice, going deep into the Kitchener zone. Back to play it is Woolley. Woolley moves it ahead. Colts take it. There's the shot. Kirsch the save. Crombie trying to get to that loose puck, but Christian Kirsch will hold on to it.
A big kill by Barrie there to start the period and brought some life into this crowd. Now you get it in the offensive zone, and it's like they're going to make a change. Although it doesn't look like anyone really knows who's supposed to be going out on the ice. Dylan Smoskowitz taking as long as he can to make that decision, and the top line will come out, but Kayshawn Aitchison heading off the ice.
I was wondering if maybe in this third period it'd be Aitchison out there for the full 20 minutes, but...
Well, especially for an offensive zone draw, but...
Face-off won by the Colts, but Humphreys steals it, sends it back into the Barrie end. Eliason back to pick it up for the Colts. He'll send this one forward. Zabeski turned it over to Romano, far side off the skate of Humphreys. Humphreys on the corner, trying to play this one around. Elenis behind the Barrie net. He's tied up by Zabeski. Continue to battle, moving this one around. Eliason, he ties up his man as Emerton digs it free. He'll skate it out. Cole Emerton gets to the blue line. Backhands it into the Ranger zone. Campbell back to pick it up for the Rangers. We're past the 4-minute mark of the third period. Carson Campbell waiting back behind his own net. Campbell now will skate off for a change as Woolley will collect it. Jared Woolley moving it ahead. Near side O'Reilly. That's going to go down the ice. Edwards puts it to the corner. Dylan Edwards in a battle with Aitchison, taken by Lowe, and he's going to flip it down the ice. Woolley back to pick it up for Kitchener. He'll send this one around. Rangers to the line, kept in by Passmore. Puck goes behind the Ranger net. Colts trying to get to it. Carter Lowe is there, but it's the Rangers who will get it out. Woolley up ahead. That's batted away by Passmore. Eamon Edgar gets a stick on it, kicks it one forward. Edgar trying to get to it, ends up behind the net. Colts with possession in front, deflected. Aitchison can't get it. Hands are at the point, takes the shot through a crowd, and that's going to go wide of the net. Rangers will move this one out to the neutral zone. O'Reilly sends it across. Edwards dumps this one in for Kitchener. Krevic leaving it behind the net there for Justin Hanser. He's going to be chased ahead by Lamb. On the wing, it's Crombie. Calvin Crombie on the wing. Crombie hits the brakes, blows a tire. Rangers trying to recover. Stolen again by the Colts. There's the shot. Kirsch the save. Schneider has it in the corner, trying to go back to the blue line. Back to the point, kept in there by Hanser. Lamb gets to it, and he'll send it back to the Barrie blue line. Hanser, he dumps this one in. Kirsch stomps it behind the net. Kirsch will give it up to Campbell. Campbell moves this one forward, near side for Romano. Luca Romano sends this one to the far corner. Von Richter gets to it, sends this one up to Schneider. Schneider trying to put this one forward, picked off by the Rangers. Romano shot wide of the net, in front, into the crease. They're trying to get to it, as Hrebeck didn't see that one right away, but good defensive play by Von Richter to tie up the stick of Romano. Eliason back behind his own net, passing this one forward. Up to Emerton, loses it to Humphreys. Eliason, he'll skate this one back. Picked up here by Hemming. Hemming, he's going to go for a skate for Barrie. Hemming still with it, into the attacking zone on his backhand to the net. Bounces wide of that far post. Zabeski trying to send it behind the net, picked up by the Rangers. Kitchener with it. They're going to send this one ahead. Bounces at center, and that's going to go off the scoreboard at center ice, and we'll get a face-off. 13-18 remaining in the third period. Still 2-1 Rangers.
Well, the chat kind of carried over with the food stuff.
Really?
Little Christy Mike, you should barbecue your own smash burgers.
Lee saying, live chat in the summer, live from Lone Star with nothing but food reviews. I could go
Hey,
for that.
if Lone Star wants to sponsor the broadcast.
Lone Star wants to sponsor the broadcast, and we'll get a little fajita action going.
That'd be all right. I wouldn't complain. But that's it for the chat.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do my survey right now. So Lenny, you'll handle the chat.
I'll take over. Sorry to hear that, Liam Coffey. Unfortunately, Liam had to leave the game early. Had some issues with some Ranger fans.
That's too bad.
Which is too bad. Jeremy saying, with less of a role at the NHL level, do you feel HSN will settle into a certain type of role? Power play plus two-way defenseman, PK, power play, shutdown pair, plus shutdown pair. And I think he's taken strides into trying to find that role throughout this season, where obviously he may not be that number one guy, especially right when he gets to Long Island. He's going to have to earn those power play minutes, especially with a guy like Matthew Schaefer on the power play right now for the New York Islanders. So he's going to have to come in and play a really strong defensive game, because he's not going to be the offensive weapon that he is right now, right when he gets to the NHL. He's going to have to grow into that, and you can't grow into that as a defensive liability.
Well, it's going to be fascinating just to see those two working together, Schaefer and Aitchison at the NHL level. And that was the first thing that came to mind when the draft took place, when Aitchison was selected in that first round late. It's like that pairing in the future, it's going to be something else. And Islander fans are going to be in for a treat with those two.
Well, you got him, you got Schaefer on the back end, and you know, up front, you had Victor Eklund in the draft. I'm sure they're going to add a good piece, probably a forward this draft, as a lottery pick in round number 1. And you know what, they got their coach of the future in Pete DeBoer, and you're always in it when you got a good goalie, and Ilya Sorokin's one of the best.
And of course, Pete DeBoer, former head coach of the Kitchener Rangers,
true.
Won the OHL Championship and Memorial Cup in 2003.
He was there in 2008, right?
And 2008, yep.
So I think that was his last year.
Yeah, because then he went off to the National Hockey League after that.
I know my stuff.
Look at you.
I saw a banner the other day.
Colts trying to keep in the offensive end. That'll escape the zone. Aitchison at center. Back in his own blue line, gives it up to Hemming. Emil Hemming, he'll skate it in for the Colts. Trying to cut to the middle, up to Wilmot. That rolls on him. And that's going to be covered up by Kirsch with 12:45 remaining. Shots now 28-14 in favor of Kitchener.
Making arguments about the start over Lone Star.
Really?
Lone Star should sponsor y'all. You do a professional job, especially with a chat going. And then Isaac responds, these gentlemen can do better than Lone Star.
Wow. Maybe they should be our agents. They can do our sales.
They can do our sales. Do you guys want to do sales in the summer? We're Lone Star guys, though.
You know, I'm good with whatever. I'm not picky with my food.
That's true.
Just like, was it Little Chrissy said, do my own barbecue?
Yeah, barbecue.
I love
smash
barbecue.
Burgers. Yeah. We'll do a tailgate in the summer, too.
That'd be fun. Have a fan live stream chat tailgate party.
Yeah.
See who all wants to come out. We do a hangout.
Yeah.
Puck comes back to the point, kept in by Aitchison. Colts trying to move this one around. Edgar had it, ends up behind the Kitchener net. Edwards gets a stick on it, goes up in the air. Gardner trying to go back to Aitchison, but in the way was Dylan Edwards. Edwards holding it along the boards, taking more time off the clock. Woolley just took a Colt player down. Fans want a penalty, none coming. That was Jaden Newton who was taken down. Rangers trying to move it back to the point. Kept in. Emerton up ahead to Aitchison. Aitchison waits. He's taken into the corner by McNeil. Puck's going to come around near side. Rangers still with it. Edgar takes that one out of the air, sends this one up. Here's Emerton up the middle, decided to pass. Goes to Aitchison in front. Loose puck. Gardner shot off the post. They score! Eamon Edgar, right place, right time. And the Barrie Colts, they have tied it at 2.
So many big third period goals throughout this run for the Barrie Colts, and the guy we've talked about maybe more than anyone as a guy that could step up in this game, Eamon Edgar getting the goal there for Barrie. Dylan Smoskowitz mashing the lines. He's actually got his second, his third, and his fourth line center out there right now. Puck up the wing. Emerton faking the shot, tries to get it across to Aitchison. Just misses, but what a pass by Aitchison. What a tip by Newton to get it to Brad Gardner. His shot goes off the post, and then Eamon Edgar's right there on the doorstep. Gets the greasy tap in, and this game tied at 2. And the Barrie Colts, once again, with a game-tying goal in the third period. They're 4th in the last 2 games. Kitchener, they haven't conceded yet that this goal will count. They're still looking at it on the bench. Mason Zabeski's over there, maybe try to tell them to hurry up.
Well, I'm wondering if they're going to take a look to see if there's maybe goaltender interference, as Brad Gardner sent it into the crease, and Kirsch was down. From our vantage point, I couldn't tell if Edgar made contact with Kirsch or not.
Right now, Zabeski's saying, all right, let's go. They've had enough time.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to challenge it. So it's going to be a good goal. Eamon Edgar is first of the playoffs. That may be the biggest goal of his junior hockey career so far.
Richard says, good thing you two like your job. Good chance of covering overtime again.
Thanks, Richard.
There's also rumors of a ranch sponsorship.
Excellent. Here comes Hemming. Hemming into the zone. He takes the hit. Puck comes around. Far side. Colts trying to get to it. Kept at the point by Wilmot. Wilmot trying to send it around. Hanser to the corner. Zabeski with a big hit. Ran over the Ranger defenseman. Play continues. Colts trying to move it around. At the point. Kept in by Hanser. Backhand towards the net. That's knocked down by Reed. That's going to be knocked out to center by the Rangers. Lamb sends it deep. First one on it is Von Richter. Parker Von Richter sends it across. Here's Justin Hanser. Hanser will send this one in. Around the boards it goes. Wilmot gives chase. Gets to it first. Zabeski to the net. Puck sitting there. Crombie's shot puts it over the net. Wilmot fans on it. Rangers are able to get this one out to the neutral zone. Picked up by Emerton. Eliasson. His pass doesn't connect with Crombie. Rangers will skate it in. Woolley on the far side to the net, into the skates of Eliasson, and trying to jam it was Pridham, but that was stopped by Horebic. Rangers get it again. Here's Pridham. His shot stopped by Horebic. Puck's loose, and Schneid gets to the line and out. Picking it up at center, that's Bilecki. His pass picked off by Lowe. Carter Lowe is just going to flip this one towards the Kitchener blue line as Reed will skate it back. Pridham loses it. Edgar off the bench. He'll play it. Dumps this one in. Ends up behind the net. Edgar's taken down. Fans want a penalty. None coming. Rangers backhand this one down the ice. Near side Reed. Cameron Reed protects that puck in front, but no one there for the Rangers. At the point, Sherratt keeps this one in. O'Reilly behind the Barrie net. He's tied up by Aitchison. Sherratt to the point for Reed. Near side, Campbell takes the shot, deflected, and scores! In front was Christian Humphreys. He got a stick on it. And the Rangers back in front. It's now 3-2.
Well, just like this Barrie Colts team doesn't seem to quit and getting back in these games, the Kitchener Rangers, once they get this game tied, they get right back to work. And right there, another good example of it. Good tip out in front by Christian Humphreys. And I said it earlier this week, the Colorado Avalanche got to be so happy with the fact they got this guy in the 7th round of the NHL draft. Campbell with the shot from the point. Actually, that is Andonovski as they put Reed and him back together. Great tip by Christian Humphreys. Horebic didn't have much of a chance on that redirection. And once again, Kitchener has the lead.
For Christian Humphreys, now sitting on 9 goals in this postseason, giving the Rangers the go-ahead goal once again. So now the Colts back trailing in this hockey game, have to find a way to get back into it again. Now down to 9.5 minutes left to go in this hockey game. Campbell, he's taken to the boards by Zabeski. They battle in the corner. Campbell trying to move it along. That goes back to the point. Woolley, though, is in the neutral zone. Woolley's going to put this one on net. Horebic's going to play it. Gives this one up to Eliasson. Gabriel Eliasson behind his own net. Here's Hemming. Emil Hemming, he'll go for a skate through center. Hemming, though, loses it. Gave it up to Dylan Edwards. Edwards has it in his skates. Hemming trying to move this one ahead. He'll just put this one into that far corner. McNeil, first one on it. Around the boards it goes. Aitchison's there for the Colts from the half boards. Down low, Wilmot in front. That pass is blocked. Wilmot trying to play it back. Low is there for the Colts. Back to Emerton. Across one-timer, and that's stopped by Kirsch. That was Aitchison with the bullet. And the Rangers are going to get it down the ice, and that will be icing. No, they're going to wave it off. They're going to say Emerton could have played it. Aitchison comes up with it for the Colts. He'll skate this one forward. Into the zone by Crombie, but it makes contact with a player on the Rangers bench. And we'll get a whistle with 8:22 remaining.
It's another example. I mean, it didn't end in icing, but of the, hey, TV timeout. Just send it down the ice. We're going to get a reset anyway, even if we have to stay out on the ice. But for Kitchener now, it's right back to defending, trying to shut down this Colts team. And they had been doing a good job. Barrie had been pushing early on in this period, and then they finally get the goal, but obviously a disappointing one there to give up. But the other night, Kitchener scored 2 go-ahead goals in the third to get the lead back on Barrie. So Barrie, they had to tie it 3 times in the third. So you've only tied it once this period. You can do it again.
Well, it's amazing, too, in this series how fast it seems these goals are coming. Because we go with these long spurts of where it's like this game, for example, it was 1-0 up until midway through that second period. Then suddenly a shorthanded goal for Kitchener and then a power play goal for the Colts. And then again here in this third period where it's just back and forth.
Yeah, Barrie had a good pushback there right off that goal, and a good opportunity for Kayshawn Aitchison on the one-timer. Great job by Kirsch sliding across, making another big save for this Kitchener team.
So we're down to 8:22 remaining in this hockey game. The Colts down by 1 as Kitchener finds a way to keep that lead after giving up that tying goal to Eamon Edgar. I'm seeing that the chat's getting a little stressed.
I think so. And there was one guy, I was going to mention it, but then they scored. I'm guessing he's a Kitchener fan. He said, "Come on, that's goalie interference. I could see it all the way from the radio broadcast."
Oh, that's clever. I like it.
You, sir, are welcomed back next year.
Yeah. Even if the Kitchener Rangers aren't playing.
Come out to a Barrie Niagara game.
Yeah, there we go. We'll take it.
Yeah.
But this is where the Colts, they're going to have to dig deep. Gabriel Eliza just coming back, having words with Ben Horevic. And, you know, for this Colts team, just the effort they're putting in, night out. They were down 3-1 in the best-of-7 series against the Brantford Bulldogs, found a way to come back. This team just leaves you feeling like they have a chance, no matter what the score may be.
Every single night, they seem to be in the game, and they seem to find ways to get back in games and win games. And that's why I said it earlier. If any team could find a way to come back from down 3-0, it's the Barrie Colts. But they need a goal, a couple more goals here tonight.
And the Rangers clear the puck. It ends up going on the bench. So they'll bring this faceoff back into the Rangers zone with 8:12 left to go. As the J. Ross Robertson Cup, it's in the building. At this point, I'm sure they're going to start shining it up. And we'll find out tonight if the Rangers are going to bring it home on their bus ride back down south.
The last time they got that cup ready for an opposing team, the Sadlin Arena, Barrie went out, won the game in overtime. Mason Zabeski in game number 6.
Colts keep it down low in the Kitchener zone. Reed's going to send it around. Here's Campbell. Carson Campbell passing this one across. And that's going to go back to the Barrie blue line. Romano's there. He loses it. Puck's just sitting there. Romano will find it. Goes to Pridham on the near side. His shot stop. Rebound. Humphreys can't get to it. Wilmot skates it out for the Colts. He'll reach center ice. Wilmot backhand pass. That's picked off by Campbell, and he's going to skate it back behind his own net. Trying to take it away was Wilmot. Rangers with possession. Skating it forward. That's Reed. He'll just dump it in. Horevic stops it behind the net. He's going to play it over to his defense. Goes by Aitchison to Hemming. He's surrounded by white sweaters. Sherratt's shot blocked. And that's going to go into the netting and out of play with 7:18 remaining. And the fans here, some pretty nervous moments for this Colts fan base.
Well, it's a Let's Go Rangers chant going right now. The Rangers have taken the Colts fans out of the game right now. And you talked about Barrie and the way they've came back, and it's that brotherhood. all year long, these guys have stuck up for one another, and there's no tension in that locker room. And these guys still believe in each other no matter what.
Battle along the near boards. Von Richter trying to play it, but Edwards was in the way. Edwards sends this one in the zone. Eliasson, that one gets by him. Crombie on the far side. He'll just flip it out to center. After it is Schneid, collected by Lowe. That's blocked. Rangers regain possession and comfortable just sending it deep in their own end. Passing it forward. Here's Dylan Edwards on the wing. Edwards will send that one to the corner. Eliasson there to pick it up for the Colts. Lost the handle. Nearly getting to it in time was Edwards. Ellis goes to Lamb. Lamb in the middle. He's tied up. Loose puck collected by Schneid. That goes off the end boards. Von Richter behind his own net. He's going to take his time as they regroup. 6.5 minutes now remaining. Gabriel Eliasson has it behind his own net. Kayshawn Aitchison will pick it up from him. Aitchison up the wing. That's tipped into the zone, so no icing. Campbell will be the first one on it. Gardner on the forecheck. Gardner will tie up Campbell. Newton's there as well, trying to dig it free. In the corner, Jaden Newton, backhand pass in the middle, but Lamb gets to it first. He's going to put this one down the ice. Icing's waved off. Aitchison has to play it. He's going to drop it there for Justin Hanser. Hanser moves it up for the Colts. Here's Edgar. Edgar on the near side, cuts to the middle. Puck rolled on him. Puck's loose in the slot. That's going to be sent to the far boards. Edgar down low for Gardner. Gardner trying to play it, sends it back behind the Kitchener net. Rangers come up with it. That's Bilecki. Bilecki to the line, kept in by Aitchison. That's sent back behind the Rangers net. There's Woolley. Woolley in a battle there with Gardner. Bilecki comes up with it. Passing this one forward. Rangers get it out down the ice. That centers Tanner Lamb. He takes the bump. Hemming comes back to play it for the Colts. Emil Hemming scored the power play goal in the second period to make it a 2-1 score at that point. Hemming still with it, cuts the middle. His shot stopped by Kirsch. Sebeski back to the line. Emerton trying to play it, takes the hit. Puck comes back to the line, but the Colts can't keep it in the zone. Evan Passmore with it deep in his own zone as we're down to the final 5 minutes of this hockey game. The Kitchener Rangers up 3-2. Wilmot sends this one forward. Emerton loses it. Sebeski dumps this one in. Andonovski will collect it now for Kitchener. Matthew Andonovski, he'll skate it up. Here's Sherratt, receives the pass, trying to get a lane to the net. Sherratt takes the shot, stopped by Hrebeck. Sebeski picks up the loose puck. He'll reach center ice. And that's going to be sent into the Ranger zone. Woolley will be the first one on it. Woolley leaving it there for the Rangers. At the point, Von Richter can't get to it. Schneid back at his own blue line. Passing this one up. Von Richter sends it deep. Woolley back to pick it up for Kitchener, but we're going to get a whistle here. And I think it may be for icing. A little confused by that, but it's also the TV timeout.
Well, I think the Colts were confused by it too. I don't think a lot of them, I think they all thought they had gotten the red line there, but yeah, the icing's the call, and the puck's going to come back to the Kitchener end, and 4:18 to go. Barrie trying to find some life here. Kitchener's done a good job shutting things down again after that, getting that goal to give them the lead.
So these are the final few minutes of this hockey game. The Barrie Colts trying to extend this series, save their season. But as soon as the Colts tied it up, Christian Humphreys with the deflection to give Kitchener the go-ahead goals. It's a 3-2 score.
Grab a drink of water, Kayshawn. You're not seeing the bench the rest of the game.
You know what? I think he's right.
Go Kitchener. My boyfriend needs money.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's a positive.
No, I guess if you don't have to spend money on tickets for Game 5. And
I guess, yeah, if you're going to look at it that way. But okay, that works.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Linesman on point tonight. I've never said anything bad about officiating.
Okay.
That sounds like he may be lying.
Is he being sarcastic?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, we're down to 4:18 remaining. We'll also keep an eye on Ben Hrebeck to see when he goes off for the extra attacker. For the last 2 games, Barrie was down by a goal, and Kayshawn Aitchison, Captain Clutch, scored with 3.6 seconds remaining in game number 2 down at Kitchener to force overtime. And then on Sunday in game 3, 12 seconds left, scored to force overtime. So this game's it's not done yet. You can't count out this Barrie Colts team.
Well, Barrie lost both those games in overtime, so they might be looking for a different hero tonight. Maybe change things up.
Well, we know how superstitious Dylan Smoskowitz is, so I'm sure he'd be okay with that too. But right now, it's going to be a face-off to the left of Hrebeck. Wilmot's going to take the draw up against Hayden Ellis. Shots 33-19 for the Rangers.
They're getting longer.
These timeouts?
That was so long.
That was a very long timeout. Face-off won by the Colts. Von Richter takes it around his own net. Passing this one up to Schneid. Schneid reaches center, loses it to Arquette. Arquette will just put it right back into the Barrie end. Von Richter behind his own net, leaves it for Kayshawn Aitchison. He'll send this one over. Aitchison loses it to Arquette. Good shift here from Arquette. Sebeski's going to dump it into the near corner. Campbell back to pick it up for Kitchener. He'll skate it back behind his own goal. Carson Campbell reaches center. Passing this one up to O'Reilly. O'Reilly has that one blocked. Puck's inside the Barrie blue line. O'Reilly gets it again from the side. Tried to take the shot from his knees, but that was blocked by Von Richter. Gardner passing this one ahead. Hemming can't settle it down. O'Reilly picked off by Von Richter. Von Richter backhand pass to Kayshawn Aitchison. Aitchison reaches center. He'll send this one around the boards. Reed will be the first one on it. Takes the hit from Gardner. Carter Lowe trying to dig it free. Rangers get it to the line. Kept in by Aitchison. Colts move it along the boards. Gardner's going to fire it around. Hemming, first one on it for Barrie. Emil Hemming spins and fires. That's taken by O'Reilly, and he's going to get it out. Gabriel Eliasson from in front of his own net. He's going to peel back. As we're now under 3 minutes remaining, Hrebeck looking to the bench for instructions. Emerton has to be careful here. He's got Romano all over him. Emerton ahead. Here's Emil Hemming. Hemming spinning around inside his own zone, trying to go through center. Up ahead to Newton. Newton dumps this one in. Carter Lowe looks over his shoulder. Puts it to the far boards. Rangers get to it again. Up ahead to Humphreys. Humphreys will flip it down the ice. Eliasson takes a swing at it, knocked it away from Pridham. Sebeski along the boards. Pridham trying to knock it loose. And that's going to go around. Here's Calvin Crombie. Back to Cole Emerton. Emerton back behind his own goal. Dylan Edwards on the forecheck. Keeping an eye on Emerton. Emerton to Newton. Jaden Newton flips this one along the board. Sebeski gets it in deep. Doesn't get far enough as the Rangers right away put it back to the Barrie blue line. Von Richter up ahead. Hrebeck slowly making his way towards the bench, waiting for the Colts to get the puck down below the red line. There's a shot in front. Sebeski couldn't get a stick on it. Puck's behind the Rangers' net. Kitchener will get it to the line and out. Won't be enough for icing as Von Richter has to play it. We're down to the final minute and a half as Hrebeck between the hash marks. Aitchison along the boards. Hrebeck's now heading off for the extra attacker. Colts move it around. Here's Hemming. Hemming down low in the corner. Gardner back to the point. Hemming gets it again here for the Colts. Passes it down low. Gardner in front. That misses. Aitchison, Von Richter over to Hemming on the near side. Hemming fires, stopped by Kirsch. Along the boards, Rangers are going to get it out. There's a Ranger chasing after it. That's Dylan Edwards. Empty net, hits the side of the goal. Edwards still with it though, the empty cage. Back to Pridham, and the puck bounced on him. We're now in the final minute as the Colts, in desperation mode, they turn it over at center. O'Reilly to Edwards. Edwards loses it to Von Richter. What a play. Colts still have life. It's Ben Wilmot. Wilmot carries it in for Barrie. Has it in the corner. In front. Here's Aitchison, but it rolled on him. Another chance, and that's blocked. Rangers with the empty net, and it goes wide. And that's going to be icing against Kitchener, but oh my goodness. Edwards had a glorious chance, but Parker Von Richter, desperate, knocks that one away.
What a sequence. I mean, Edwards and O'Reilly had multiple opportunities there to give the Colts to finish this series off, and just missing a pair of times. What a play by Von Richter. Colts go back out the other way, and like it's fate, it deflects to Aitchison alone out in front. And the one time that it goes over his stick is that moment. Still 30 seconds for Barrie, but what an opportunity there. And Dennis Martindale's drawing up a play. This is Barrie's season on the line right here, and Kitchener, they'll be drawing up just as big of a plan here with an opportunity to clinch the J. Ross Robertson Cup.
So it's the Barrie Colts who called that timeout on the Kitchener Rangers icing. Barrie's going to go with Wilmot, Hemming, Lowe, and Gardner up front, and then Von Richter and Aitchison at the point. So a huge face-off here to the left of Christian Kirsch. Sam O'Reilly will take the face-off for the Rangers up against Brad Gardner. 30.2 seconds remaining. Scrambled draw. Colts win it. Von Richter down to Aitchison. Aitchison back to Von Richter. Rides the blue line. His pass is poked away. And now Edwards skates it out to center. O'Reilly down the middle. Empty net. And that should do it, as Sam O'Reilly puts it into the empty cage. And the Kitchener Rangers are now up 4-2.
Well, it's almost fitting, as you can see the celebration already beginning. Christian Kirsch just came over to the bench to jump up and down with Jackson Schwabel, but it works out for Kitchener there. The two best players all series long, Edwards and O'Reilly, they had knocked multiple pucks free to create a couple of empty net opportunities there. They couldn't get it done, but finally the puck comes loose. Edwards pushes it ahead, a great pass up to O'Reilly, and from behind the play, he starts jumping up and down, knowing the celebration is on, because the J. Ross Robertson Cup is heading back to Kitchener for the first time in 18 years.
18 years to the day is the last time the Kitchener Rangers won the J. Ross Robertson Cup. As they're going to let the clock run out, 9 seconds. And the Kitchener Rangers are your 2026 OHL champions as they're celebrating here at the Sadlin Arena. And they are going off to the 2026 Memorial Cup in Kelowna.
Well, what a moment for the Kitchener Rangers, and Dylan Smoskowitz there putting out his three overagers, as well as Gabriel Eliasson and Parker Von Richter. Of course, Von Richter heading off NCAA. Who is that with blood all over his face?
That's Dylan Edwards. He's got a serious gash on his forehead.
No, he's good enough to celebrate.
Dylan Edwards celebrated too hard, and he's got a ton of blood coming from his forehead. But my, oh my, the Kitchener Rangers, what a season it was. And remember, this is a team that was preparing to host the Memorial Cup in 2027. That was their expectation. The Guelph Storm end up winning the bid, and Mike McKenzie, the general manager, does an amazing job. He pivots, turns the Rangers into a buyer, and now they're celebrating as OHL champions.
I mean, that, you know, what a deadline from them. I mean, Edwards, Sherratt, O'Reilly, Woolley, all those guys. There was people at the time questioning the goaltending, and they stuck with Christian Kirsch, and that proved right, especially in this series. And for them, I mean, Dylan Edwards, what a storybook ending to his OHL career, and what a year for both squads here. And for Dylan Edwards, though, what a series, what a playoff run, multiple overtime winners, and just a great storybook ending for a lot of guys on this Kitchener team. And they say, you know what? You don't want us to host a Memorial Cup. That's fine. We're going anyway.
But yeah, what an amazing run here by the Rangers. And that's now 5 OHL championships in franchise history. One of the more historic teams in the Ontario Hockey League. And this team back on top. They're going to represent the Ontario Hockey League at the CHL Memorial Cup. As we're seeing some of these scratches from the Barrie Colts coming out on the ice, including Joe Salandra, who's right now on crutches. I've got the webcam showing you the ice. You can see there at the bottom of the screen, Joe Salandra coming out despite having a broken fibula, I don't know if I'd want him on crutches on the ice, though.
I'm not sure the doctors would like that, but special circumstances, right? And for Barrie here, what a year. I mean, it's a team that touched the city. You can see it, the fact that, you know, outside of some people that tried to beat the traffic, a lot of this crowd is sticking around in support of this Barrie Colts team. And you can see Dylan Smoskowitz right now going around basically to every player and praising them, because it's a team that, you know, they didn't know for a very long time if they were going to even be able to contend, because a slow start and a rookie head coach, and you didn't know if Baudouin was coming back. Hemming didn't come back. Riley Patterson requests a trade. He's gone. There was rumblings in August that Emil Hemming, if he came back, he may get traded, especially when his brother was expected to go to this Kitchener Rangers team. And they just stuck through it, and it started from day one under Dylan Smoskowitz, this brotherhood. And I remember Emil Hemming telling me earlier this postseason that he doesn't even know how it started, because that's how early on this team got so tight, that when Hemming returned in October, it was already such a tight brotherhood. And they've fought adversity many times, but in the end, obviously, just maybe too many injuries. And this Kitchener Rangers team, they may have easily won this series with Cole Baudouin and Joe Salandra out on the ice, and they're very deserving champions. But I think Barrie Colts fan base will be wondering for a long time, what if Cole Baudouin and Joe Salandra were in the lineup for this series?
But this Barrie Colts team, like, they deserve a ton of credit, because there was a point, even in the fall, wondering would they be sellers at the trade deadline. And we were up in Ottawa for the game against the 67s, and they just shut things down. 4-1 final. And that was the statement game of the season. If Barrie didn't go into Ottawa to win that game, I don't know if they would have been buyers, and we'd be covering an OHL championship series. It's because of this team coming together and getting that job done. And, you know, this is a team that played like brothers, like you mentioned, band of brothers, and they went down to the wire. They didn't quit even in this hockey game.
Yeah, they were right in it, right to the end in every game this series, and I think there's something to take from that for Barrie. I mean, if you exclude the empty nets, they lost these games by 2, 1, 1, and 1. I mean, they could have easily won every game of this series, but in the end, it just went Kitchener's way. And like you mentioned, that big win in Ottawa, it may not happen with a group that is as tight as this Barrie Colts team, because guys like Keishon Aitchison, Cole Baudouin, Emil Hemming, if they were getting traded, they were getting traded to teams like Kitchener that were going to be a big part of the OHL playoffs. And so for them, they came together because they wanted to win together, and they did something that the Colts as a franchise haven't done in 13 years, and made it to an OHL final in a season where many people were just, it was a write-off. The Brantford Bulldogs were going to make it, and it looked like they were. Barrie was down 3-1, but like we said so many times this year, they found a way, and they proved to people they're just as good, if not better, than that Brantford Bulldogs team.
And for this Colts team now going to the future, it's obviously you're going to be losing a lot of key pieces with, you know, the likes of Keishon Aitchison, Emil Hemming, Cole Baudouin, obviously going off to potentially the National Hockey League or American Hockey League as early as next season. But I think for the Colts, you have to be happy with the framework that's being placed here by head coach Dylan Smoskowitz. I know he took a lot of heat with what happened at the end of Game 7 with that press conference, but he's setting the tone for this organization going forward. And I know there's still questions about changes that may happen during the off season. I'm sure we're going to find out about those changes in the coming days. But, you know, for Smoskowitz, he's set the tone here for this team.
Yeah, and it started day one with that win-the-day mindset. And, you know, I think it's pretty stupid that there is actually people still focusing on that press conference. I mean, that guy's apologized 20 times, and he's personally phoned people that were in that room to apologize to them. And for some reason, there's still some people that want to hold that over him. But, you know, Dylan Smoskowitz, he proved himself this year as a great head coach, and he easily could have been coach of the year. Obviously didn't go his way, but at the end of the day, for a rookie head coach to take this group all the way to the finals, especially with the adversity they felt, he never panicked. And You know, that's something that as a rookie head coach you may do, especially with the start that this Barrie Colts team got off to. But in the end, he just kept them in it, and eventually they trusted their systems. They trusted that forecheck. They trusted their group, and it got them to an OHL final.
And the training staff finally got Dylan Edwards off the ice. He's got blood all over his jersey.
He had a Gatorade towel, like, tied up.
Yeah, he's leaking, like, a lot. And the training staff actually just took him down the tunnel. Obviously, do some quick repairs here.
That's probably smart.
Yeah, because you're even seeing, because the Rangers are wearing their white jerseys. His blood's now on a few other jerseys.
Okay, like, everyone's seen now where our spot is. If we were able to see him from there with the amount of blood he had, then you know it was pretty bad, as the Colts, they acknowledge this crowd one more time. And, you know, you look at the roster. Zaveski, Wilmot, potentially Wilmot, Hemming, Gardner, Crombie, Aitchison, maybe Passmore, Von Richter, and probably Eliasson as well. That's from this starting roster. That doesn't even including Cole Baudouin. So it's going to be a whole different team next season, and obviously the idea is retool. And we saw what happened, though, last time this Barrie Colts team retooled. They finished 8th in the conference, and they became that gritty, hard-working, fan-favorite team. And if Dylan Smoskowitz coaches the same way he did this year, I have no doubt that this Barrie Colts team, they may not win. They may not win the division. They may not win in the playoffs and go to the finals. But it's going to be a tough group to beat, and they're going to be a lot of fun to watch next season. And you know, obviously you wonder who all will be back, but you know, the Ottawa 67s didn't have many expectations coming into this season. You just never know what a young group can do.
So right now they are getting things ready at center ice to do the presentation of the 99 award for playoff MVP. All the media took part in a poll, so we'll wait and see how it all turned out.
How did you vote?
You know what? I'm leaning towards Dylan Edwards.
But I thought you did vote.
I did vote.
Who'd you vote?
I voted for Dylan Edwards first.
Okay, so you went Edwards first, O'Reilly second?
I actually went Aitchison second.
Okay.
And O'Reilly third.
O'Reilly third. I went full Kitchener. I had Edwards, then O'Reilly, then Christian Kirsch. I thought he had a great series. And now, you know, seeing the Colts going off the ice, and you can see it there. Kayshawn Aitchison looks like he's going to hug every single player coming off the ice. What a leader he has been for this group all season long. Both him and Cole Baudouin. This team wouldn't be where they are without those two.
Yeah, a lot of tears out on the ice as this team, they fought hard. So many comebacks this season. None greater than that comeback for the Eastern Conference Championship, as right now they're bringing out the 99 award to center ice. So we'll find out in just a moment who will be the playoff MVP, as the Kitchener Rangers all lined up on that far blue line. As they're just announcing it right now at center, the award, and as it's one of the top awards when it comes to the postseason. So we'll find out in just a moment who's going to win it. Commissioner Brian Crawford waiting to be introduced so he can come out to center ice. And we'll find out in just a moment. Oh, they're just going to announce it over the PA. So we'll get it. Sam O'Reilly, he is your MVP. Not really surprised.
No.
He wins the Red Tilson as the regular season MVP, and now he's the playoff MVP. So he's got a set.
M Cup up next, and you know, I think you couldn't have gone wrong with either of those two, and he's certainly a deserving one. And what a run for Sam O'Reilly over these last couple of years.
And he's not done yet after winning a Memorial Cup last year with the London Knights. Now he's going to have a chance to win a Memorial Cup with this Kitchener Rangers team, as Brian Crawford now coming out to center ice as we bring out the J. Ross Robertson Cup, as it's going back to KW for 2026. And this is actually the 114th edition of this tournament, of it being awarded. as the Kitchener Rangers, they're going to have a great parade down King Street in downtown Kitchener. As the Robertson Cup now at center ice. As Brian Crawford, the commissioner, ready to hand things off. And you can just tell that Rangers group, they are eager to celebrate as a group. As they do the speeches before they present it. But what a night here tonight. The Kitchener Rangers, your OHL champions for 2026.
You can see as well Aitchison and Beaudoin stand on the ice to watch the presentation.
So Cameron Reed, he's going to come over to accept the trophy. So the mandatory picture, of course. And of course, you got all the social media people in our way as I'm trying to take a picture from our corner.
AI can edit that out.
That's true. We can use technology for these kind of things.
Look at how giddy they are for him to grab it.
Oh, Cameron Reed's got it. And there it is. The Kitchener Rangers are your 2026 OHL champions, the J. Ross Robertson Cup. It is going back to KW. And now this team will get a bit of a breather before they head off to Kelowna to participate in the Memorial Cup. They're the first of the league champions to be confirmed. And now we just wait for who's going to win the Western Hockey League and the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League.
For Kitchener, they won their series pretty short every single time. And so they've had a lot of breaks, but rust has never been a factor. They come firing out every series, a new series. And, you know, I'll be the first to admit I haven't followed too much of the WHL and the QMJHL this year. I try to keep up with the top teams, but I don't know. This Kitchener Rangers team, they look like they're going to be pretty tough to beat. And I think Andonovski has Edwards' blood all over his back.
That's what I was saying. They're the white jerseys, so his DNA is on those jerseys. Dan Leibold's going to have a lot of work to do.
Oh, here he goes.
Hey, he's not wearing the headscarf. So they stitched him up pretty quick.
Look at
or
he
did they
looks
glue
brand
him?
new. He looks brand new.
Is that a new sweater? Oh, no. That you can still see the red. So there you go. The season has come to an end, and you know it was a fun year covering the Barrie Colts. This was actually our first year doing the road radio broadcast. We want to thank the Barrie Colts for allowing us to go on the road. Dylan Smoskowitz, every pregame, doing the coach's corner. He put up with our questions. He put up with us on the road. But, you know, we appreciate everybody tuning into the broadcast. I know the subscriber count on the channel has, exploded. I think we're almost at 1,500 subscribers on the channel. So I want to thank each and every one of you. And we're hoping to do this again next year.
Yep. And, you know, credit to Smoskowitz and all the players as well, because when times got tough this postseason, they didn't shy away either and shut us out. He stepped up and he grabbed his interviews and you know, there was a couple games there where we were like, hey, you know, maybe we don't talk to a player, you know, they're down 3-1. You know, maybe give them some space to go out and he looked right in my eyes and he went, who do you want? And, you know,
every time,
who do you want? And he grabbed one every single time for us, and we are very grateful and, you know, grateful for everyone in the chat too, because we're the only broadcast that gets to have others can have it, they just don't have it, and we get to have it, and I think that was a great decision, and you know, we've had a lot of fun. I mean, we have a great time with the people on the chat live, but even when we go to commercial break, we're looking at the chat and laughing at some of the stuff you guys come up with. You know, specifically, you know, Liam and Tammy and Richard. I think those three have been our biggest supporters all year long. I think they've tuned into pretty much every broadcast, and I think down the stretch run here, Richard has donated $10 every time. So thank you to him, because we have a great time doing this, and it's like I said to Gene earlier. I mean, we're a trio, and we have what you see on air is what we are like off air as well. We have a great dynamic together, and like I said to him, it's not something that every broadcast gets to have, and for that, I'm very grateful.
And for us too, we traveled all on our own.
Yep.
We were in the car. We were driving across this province. We went up to Sault Ste. Marie. We went through Michigan, Erie, Ottawa. We drove all on our own, and we covered all the expenses. We had to pay for the hotels, but you know, it was
worth it.
It was worth it, and we've had some great sponsors. Want to thank our sponsors, Craighurst Crossing, also Frontline Hockey Apparel, and Mariposa School of Skating. They were there right from the get-go. Amazing sponsors, and they believed in this broadcast. We reached out to so many different business people, and their thing was, we don't know if this is going to work, so come back to us next season. So for those who doubted the broadcast, I think we're going to have to come back. And
that's the thing, too, is that so much of what we had this year, we didn't have as many sponsorships because, like you mentioned, they said, you know what, we just want to see how it goes. So without all the people in here that have tuned in and viewed and liked and subscribed and commented.
There you go.
We commentate, you comment. That's going on a t-shirt. Anyways, without you guys all coming on, we wouldn't be able to go and show people the really good numbers in the summer, and hopefully a lot of great sponsorships are going to come in, and we're looking forward to hopefully being back on the road next year. I mean, you just never know, but we're going to do all we can to get back out on the road.
So that's our plan. So that's the Rangers right now still doing their celebrations out on the ice.
I think they're pretty much done because they've gotten to the scratches. I saw Derek Colo lifting it, Barrie kid.
Yeah, everyone's getting their chance. So that will do it for us. We're going to wrap things up. And again, thank you to everyone who stuck around. We appreciate you. And hopefully maybe we should try to do a meetup this summer. I think that was a great idea.
That was a great idea.
So we'll see what we can do. But in the meantime, that'll do it for us from the Sadlin Arena. The Barrie Colts fall short. 4-2 is your final as the Kitchener Rangers are your J. Ross Robertson Cup trophy winners. For Gene Pereira, Josh McCann, I'm Mike Poirier saying so long, and we'll talk to you again next season.